This is a visual novel. The House in Fata Morgana. Everybody, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy, okay? There is a house that sits beyond dark, dense woods. Like the world fading into view after a dream. That old mansion appears before you. Without realizing it, you instinctively accept as truth the events unfolding before you. The house lives in perpetuity, an amalgam of myriad fates and generations. No one knows who first said. That the mansion was cursed. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Have mercy on me, O Father, and cast their souls into eternal damnation. I was looking down upon a corpse. My own corpse. I was afflicted with great despair at the sight of it being dragged to the place of my crucifixion. My soul crumbled, and I was wholly extinguished. Indeed, I did once lose everything. However, as I faded into darkness everlasting, I heard a voice calling out to me, and so I vowed once more that no matter how long it may take, how great the obstacles that stand in my way, or what form you may assume, I shall come back for you. Then that I must return to that house. So I ask of you, please wait until this mutilated body arrives there once more. Your consciousness, wavering like a ship at sea, was slowly drawn back to the surface. With each new breath feeling gradually return to your fingers. Master. You hear the pattering of rain from somewhere. Master? And the sound of a crackling fire. Wake up, Master. Creak, creak, creak. Wake up. When you came to, you were rocking back and forth in a rocking chair. The room was dimly lit. Aside from the flickering of a fireplace, there was no other illumination. No light shone through the closed windows. There was only the pitter-patter of rain on the glass. It was as though the whole mansion had been enveloped in darkness. Oh, splendid. You've finally awoken. Someone called out to you. You were about to search the room, but that turned out to be unnecessary. The source of the voice was crouching beside the chair, looking up at you with emerald eyes. Good morning, Master. Good morning. Oh, I can pick things. What's the matter? Are you still waking up? You seem rather drowsy. Come now, you must gather yourself. Though I am glad to hear your voice. I've simply been waiting so long for this moment. Tending to the mansion all by my lonesome, ensuring it was ready for your return, whenever that time may be. When I caught sight of you through the window, my heart fluttered. The time had finally arrived. You were perplexed. This woman who looked like a maid seemed to know you, but you had no memory of her. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves if you would like. Or perhaps your tastes have changed since we last met. Tell me, Master, what would you like? I beg your pardon. I allowed myself to get too excited. But I hope you will be sympathetic, Master. I'm just utterly elated that I could see you again. The woman appeared to be genuinely delighted that you had awoken, but she seemed to lack the energy typical of her age. Or perhaps life was more appropriate word than energy. But the gloom extended beyond the maid. It seemed to encompass the entire mansion. The plaster walls illuminated by the fireplace and the rose engravings in the ebony pillars felt vaguely familiar. But a crushing sense of claustrophobia overpowered that familiarity. It seemed as though the house wasn't interested in accepting you just yet. Oh my, do you not know who I am? Do you not know who you are either? That is quite the predicament. If you cannot remember who you are, then who am I to serve? The woman's face was pale, almost as though a faint chill ran down your spine. You are the master of this house, though it would seem you have no memories of such. Quite the dilemma. If you know not who you are, then you are no different than a stranger to me, no? Indeed, you have returned, but from where? That I cannot say. Then how about this? I am a servant of this mansion, and as such I am familiar with the many incidents that have taken place here. I shall show you the history of this house, Master. That will surely allow you to recall who you are. The freshly awakened gears in your head began to turn as you mulled things over. The maid had called you the master of this house, but without a single mirror in the room, you had no way of seeing what you looked like. Unable to decide, you reflexively nodded. Let us be off then, and fear not. I merely entreat you not to let go of my hand. Should you hold it tightly, you need not worry about being washed away by the waves of history. No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. Your hand in hers, you follow the maid's lead through the hall. The air within the mansion was oppressive, as though a black miasma hovered within. The house was bleak and barren, hardly a trace of colour to be found. You came across an open window. Beyond that lay nothing but darkness. Neither sunlight nor moonlight could be seen. There were no chirping birds, no rustling grass, no signs of life at all. Everything that would normally give colour to the world had vanished entirely. The only other presence was that of the maid. Following her lead, you proceeded through the mansion. After some time, you arrived at a double door, the glass within shattered. The door, once pure white, had long since faded into a dull grey. It appeared to lead into the back garden. You could hear children laughing on the other side. Though it is in the state you now see it, a beautiful, beautiful garden once lay beyond these doors. The owner of the time enjoyed gathering rare species of rose from all across the world. At its grandest, it seemed every flower was in constant competition for the most majestic bloom. Would you like to see this wonderful era of splendour and prosperity? I very much hope it is to your liking, master. The maid opened the doors to the back garden. A sudden gust of wind brushed across your face, forcing you to close your eyes as you followed the maid out the doors. When you next opened your eyes, the world was no longer blanketed in shadows. The first door. 1603. Oh. Cool. The mansion had an alluring air of beauty about it in that era. It was almost like something out of a fairy tale. This period of history could perhaps be described as a symphony of destruction, as cumbersome principles of old came crashing down. Freed from day-to-day oppression of these antiqued precepts, the people seemed to hark back to the more poetic, expressive ways of old. They took these newly blossoming emotions in hand, and with them they wrote literature, painted portraits, composed theatre, and found love. Even the church, which had maintained authority throughout the Middle Ages, embraced the changing times, adopting the culture's flowering sense of aesthetic. War would break out, not 20 years from then, plucking the ripened era from the tree of history, but that is of no concern to us now. At the time, it was still what people refer to as the Golden Age, a period of furor for all who were there. Now, let us take a slight detour. No, we will not be changing locations. This is a tale about the mansion from beginning to end. We will, however, be moving through time. Say, about 8 years into the past? A very wealthy family lived in the house then. The mother and father, brother and sister, all had distinctive, beautiful flaxen hair. I was always enamoured by their hair. By contrast, mine is the colour of a wet crow. See, there I am, standing around, looking rather a fool. I was happy back then, and what reason did I have not to be, afforded the opportunity to attend to such a beautiful home? So I poured my heart into serving that family. Listen closely, if you would. That soft, fleeting sound that could only be a young girl singing. Can you hear it?
La 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 la.
The girl you see cheerfully picking crimson roses and singing like a songbird was called Nellie. Though young, she sang with elegance. Nellie was deeply fond of the house's garden, and she would often spend her afternoons there. Gorgeous roses gathered from all across the world bloomed in the garden. They were given the utmost care and even had their thorns removed, so young Nellie would not hurt herself, naturally. The light brown-haired girl carefully plucked petals from the roses, gathering them up as she sang. Her voice was like music played by fairies, nay, the sight of her was like an angel descended from heaven. Oh dear, please don't look at me like that. I admit I was being rather fanciful. But what is a woman if not fanciful? Little bird, singing night and day, for your little birdie heart, sing your woes away. Pretty flowers all around, sit all around the little birds, and even when the sun comes up.
Oh, dearest Mel, I've forgotten what comes next. Are you listening?
Nellie was, as a matter of fact, not the only visitor to the rose garden that day. She always came with her older brother Mel. The young siblings were inseparable. Mel adored his little sister, who in turn pined for his attention. The sight of the two innocent children cuddling together, not yet shackled by fear for the future, was truly heartwarming. That day, Mel was sitting in the shade of a tree reading a book. As I'm sure you are aware, in their time, books could not yet be mass-produced. What he was reading had been copied by a scribe. I presume he had borrowed it from the church. The book, having passed through many hands over many years, was visibly worn, but I suppose that just speaks to its importance. It was, in fact, a Latin grammar textbook he was reading. Mel was a clever boy. He had attended church from a very young age, where a priest would instruct him in Latin grammar. So at that time, I believe he was capable of reading even advanced texts.
Oh, dearest Mel, please.
The young girl approached her brother, who was consumed by the text. In her hand, she carried a large pile of rose petals. Though his sister's shadow overlapped with the trees, the boy still did not notice. So Nellie puffed her cheeks, thrust out her slender arms, and let the petals fall.
Ah! Look, your head is covered in roses, Mel.
Oh, Nellie, you got petals on the book. This isn't mine. I can't afford to let it get dirty.
It's your fault, dearest Mel. I tried to get your attention. And besides, flowers won't get a book dirty.
I must raise the white flag. When did my little lady find herself such a sharp wit?
While waiting for you, dearest Mel. I waited, and you didn't so much as glance at me. I'll be an adult by the time you're done reading that book.
Wow, that soon?
That soon. Mother says girls grow up fast.
She may be right. In that case, we should do something together before you're all grown up. Surely you won't play with me any longer when you become an adult.
That's not true. I'll still play with you even when I'm grown up.
But grown-ups don't play, Nellie.
Fine. I'll stay a child forever then.
Didn't you just say you were about to grow up?
You're so mean, Mel.
I'm sorry. Please don't pout, my little lady. How about this? To make it up to you, I'll play whatever you want today.
Really? Do you mean it? I want to play make-believe.
Make-believe?
Make-believe. I will be a princess taken captive by an evil kingdom, and you, dearest Mel, will be my valiant knight. And then you turn into a prince when you rescue me.
A knight can become a prince? Impressive.
They can. Knights and princes both have to be charming, so of course they can. Which is why it must be you, dearest Mel. No one else can be my prince or my knight.
While he may have appeared outwardly embarrassed at his rose-cheeked sister proclaimed prattingly, I am certain he was smiling on the inside. After a few moments, he merely knelt, bringing himself to eye level with Nellie and gently stroking her soft hair. All right, then. You are my princess, Nellie.
And not just anyone's princess, dearest Mel, but yours alone. So, don't be anyone else's prince but mine, okay?
Nellie. Jeez, my princess is quite the fauna.
Is that bad? Does that make you dislike me?
Not at all. I'm proud to have you as my sister, Nellie. You mean more to me than anything in the world, my dear princess.
I love you, dearest Mel. You'll always be my prince, forever and ever.
Her mood quite improved. Nellie began humming the melody of the song she had forgotten the lyrics to. Holding the skirt of her dress out from her body, the young girl pranced around the rose garden. Mel, his eyes on her back, gave a little shrug. Oh, Nellie, don't come crying to me if you trip running like that. But Mel was not entirely disapproving of his sister's excitement. He carefully brushed aside the petals on his book, set it in the shade of the tree, and began chasing after Nellie. They were picturesque siblings, brimming with hope, and at this time in their lives there was nothing to jeopardize that hope. Would it not be wonderful if children could stay children forever, Master? As I see it, though the pleasant, gentle times in our lives have value because they come to an end. Wouldn't you agree? Time continues to flow, impartial and without exception, and as such, everyone's childhood comes to an end. Be that as it may, does time also flow at the same speed for each individual? Now, let us take a trip down the river of time. I would be very much delighted if we could remain at this point in time, but unfortunately we cannot. Please do not let go of my hand, Master. I'll be on my way then. Oh, you usually stay for longer. Yes, I have an errand to run today. Thank you for your time, as always. Would you like the book back sometime next week? Next week, or the week after? Hold on to it as long as you'd like. But surely there are others who want to use it. None as sharp as you, Mel. Put yourself in my shoes and you'll understand. I want to give you any advantage you can get. Oh, do you not believe me? No, I believe you, Father. And I mean to do whatever I can not to disappoint you. That's the spirit. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'm proud to have you as my pupil. Ah, yes, and Mel, do consider what we were talking about. Going to university? Indeed. If you do, I can introduce you to some accomplished instructors. There are very little left for me to teach you, and I believe you would make a fine priest. It's an honourable thing, Mel, to devote yourself to the service of our Lord. I'll give it some thought. If you'll excuse me then, I'll see you again. Our doors are always open. Farewell. Whether it's in the service of God or the service of the church, it is an honourable profession. But theology? I wouldn't mind attending university, but I'm not sure. I'd kind of like to do something different, something more befitting of the times. As for what, though, I'm stumped. But I need to make up my mind soon. If I drag my feet for too long, even my father is liable to grow impatient. Mercy me. Young sire, blessed young sire, alms. Alms for the poor. This beggar, if I'm not mistaken, he's been outside the church since last week. Alms. The way he shakes his head, I can get a glimpse of his forehead under his hood. He's completely bald. Buy yourself some bread with this. Thank you. Thank you very much. May the Lord bless your soul. Thanks. The Lord. Oh no. Nellie's going to be cross if I don't hurry home. Curses. And it looks like it's going to rain. Master? Master? Oh, thank goodness. You appear to have a firm grasp on your consciousness. I was afraid you'd accidentally let go of my hand. Now, Master, this is the period of time I truly wished to show you. The boy reading in the rose garden is now a fine young man. Nonetheless, he still bore the same gentle eyes as before, and he would from time to time show remnants of that innocent young boy. He was, in his own mind, still making the transition into adulthood, I suspect. Mel frequently visited the church, on Sundays to participate in Mass, of course, but more often to be tutored by the priest. In addition, he also attended a private school run by an eminent Marcus. Although he was not a school where students had desks and sat in rows, they studied at the Marcus's estate. Secondary and higher education was not the same as it is today, and Mel was considering university. The priest wanted to recruit him to the church, but Mel was having difficulty deciding what he should do. Shh. That he had such a choice was envious, is it not? Good afternoon. I'm here to pick up my order. Is it ready? Aye, ready and waiting, young Master Rhodes. Oh, don't call me young master, please. I beg your pardon. Kinda seem to get my head out the past. Your order's right here, sir. Mel had stopped at a jewellery store in the centre of town on his way back from the church. The building was both a workshop and a storefront, and the nobles of the area were deeply fond of the master's wares. He was so skilled, even the royal family had commissioned him work from him. As a matter of fact, the wooden sign out front was engraved with a replica of a piece of his jewellery said to be on display in the palace. As artistry flourished in this golden age, the number of shops selling luxurious items such as jewellery rose in kind. However, the clientele of these shops comprised a very narrow range of people. May I have a look? Of course, of course. Good. It came out just as I hoped. Splendid work. Can I afford to disappoint a loyal customer like yourself? An admirable work ethic. I'm sure she'll love it. Such a kind young lad, young master. My boy back home could do well to learn a thing or two from you. Every man ought to show women some cordiality. Coming home to a cold fireplace is a sad thing indeed. Yeah. Again, please don't call me young master. My apologies. I'll take this and be on my way then. Good day. If you find yourself in need of anything else, just let me know. I can make any jewellery you ask for. Come to me and your sweetheart's day, be sure is made. And I guarantee the two of you will have all sorts of fun when you give it to her. But please, I don't have a sweetheart. Huh, well, that's a surprise. I'm sure many girls are vying for your hand too, Mr. Rhodes. A fine family, good looks, charming, and your future's all but... I'll be on my way then. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Good day. Come by again, anytime. Goodness. Maybe I'll say I want to study abroad or something. Patient as my father may be, that would certainly anger him. I can hear it now. You're wasting your God-given talents, boy. I could renounce my name and rank, go somewhere far away. That sounds like the kind of plan Nellie would come up with. As he drew closer to the mansion, the rich fragrance of roses grew more prominent. Over time, this distinctive scent had led visitors to refer to the house as Rose Manor. It was also probably a play on the flaxen-haired family's last name, Rhodes, which you heard the owner of the jewellery store say just moments earlier. The mansion looked quite different than it does now, no? No thickets of ivy covering the walls, and no rotten, broken doors to be found. I wonder what the Rhodes family would think if they saw the house in its present tragic condition. The sight of their abundantly blooming roses, a veritable symbol of prosperity, long since withered and turned into soil. My apologies. I got a little sentimental there. Let us forget for a moment about our own time. I suppose I stayed out a little too long. Oh well, the sun still shines high in the sky. I'm sure it's...
Oh. Dearest Mel, what took you so long? Where have you been? I've been waiting forever.
Nellie? You're not in the house?
Nope, you were taking so long I decided to wait by the gate. But you didn't even notice me at all. Is that any way to treat a lady? All that studying's got your head stuck up in the clouds.
No, it hasn't really. Also, you're heavy. Could you please get off my back?
Heavy? I've been gradually reducing the amount of sweets I eat, and I love sweets. To maintain my figure for a new dress, and you call me heavy?
I didn't catch that. Were you saying a tongue twister?
You're such a dimwit, Mel. Jerk, blockhead, weakling.
And obnoxious to boot. Whatever happened to the delightful little girl who was once my sister? She'd probably throw a fit if I said that out loud. Should you really be outside, Nellie? You are the star of today's event.
It's fine. They can call it a birthday party, but I know it's just about fraternizing. It's obvious what Father's true motives are. He'll be gathering a bunch of boys from good families to look for someone to marry me off to. Ugh, I have no interest in that at all.
Don't be like that, Nellie. They're all here for you. At least enjoy what you can of that party.
Grrr. I guess. And besides, it's not completely terrible. Look at this, dearest Mel. What do you think?
What do I think? About what?
About what? Mel! My new dress! It arrived! I'm wearing it! How could you not notice?
I did notice it was something I hadn't seen before, but you have so many dresses, Nellie, so...
But this is the dress I had made just for today. Look at the colours, they're so pretty. It's the work of a renowned dyer. And this belt is just lovely. You see how it comes together to form a butterfly?
Oh,
I'm just absolutely in love with it. I think I'll be wearing this dress for a while to come. So tell me, what do you think? Does it look good on me?
Yeah, it does. It's pretty. In some ways, I guess she still is the delightful little girl.
Oh, dearest Mel, I love you.
Whoa, don't jump on me like that.
Oh my, you dropped something. And what have we here?
Wait, hold on, no, you can't have that yet.
Is it a present?
Give it back. I was going to give that to you later.
I knew it, it's for me, and just what could it be?
Hey, don't open it.
What's the big deal? It's going to be mine soon anyway, isn't it? Oh, I love it! A rose necklace! And this design, it's from the jeweler the royal family uses. Oh, my dearest Mel, you had this made just for me?
Oh, jeez. It defeats the purpose if you open it before the party.
Happiness is always better sooner rather than later, Mel. I think I'll put it on right away. There, how does it look?
It looks lovely.
My prince is still the sweetest in all the land.
Don't make weird noises.
Oh, but why not? A prince always knows exactly what his princess wants. And this princess wanted some rose jewelry to go with her new dress. Understand?
Jeez, I sure don't have it easy playing your prince, Nelly. It might be about time you found a new one.
A prince is a prince because you can't just find one standing on the street corner. If you want to retire, dearest Mel, you're going to have to wait another 10 years.
That's a very long time.
Or if you find yourself a new princess.
I'm not so...
You're about as romantic as a rock, dearest Mel. But worry not, your adorable sister will always be your princess. What more could you want?
Are you really allowed to be the judge of that?
I mean, what's you than any other girl in the world, do I not? Then that makes me your perfect princess. Hey, what's with that laugh and it'll all be over soon laugh? You're always telling me I mean more than anyone to you.
Yes, you do. More than anyone in the world, my beloved baby sister.
I'll take good care of the necklace. Thank you, my dearest Mel.
Well, if you're happy with it, then so am I. You're very welcome. Now, back into the house with you. Can't have a party without the guest of honor. Do you know if anyone is here yet?
Nope. I imagine they'll be here soon, though. Were you down at the church again today, Mel?
Yeah, there was something I didn't know how to translate, so I went to look it up.
Wow, so diligent. I can't say I really like the priest there personally.
Actually, I kind of feel the same way.
What? Really? Why?
Well, you know, I have my reasons.
So even you don't always like the priest, huh? Let's get mass on Sunday then. We can go play.
No skipping church. As grew the brother, so too did the sister. That day, Nellie would be turning 14, and Mel, 3 years her senior, was 17. You saw it with your own eyes, so you know just how much she has changed. She was always a cute little girl, and she grew into an even more beautiful young woman. Though she was only 14, she was well on her way to becoming a fine lady. As for her character, well... But a girl like that has her own charms, would you not say? Drifting down the river of time, the two siblings matured into healthy young adults. But the core of their relationship did not change in the slightest. Nellie was very much attached to her brother, and as much as Mel complained, he still deeply cared for his sister. Around the time the sun had begun to set, carriages started lining up outside as well-dressed aristocrats made their way into the house. As Nellie had suspected, the majority of them were boys. Yes, I understand. You don't need to say anything more. Rose Manor, right? Okay, we'll go together. Me? Alone? No, please don't make me. The inhabitants of Rose Manor are surely living quite contented lives, and I'm sure they don't remember a thing. Ooh. Ooh. The room with the fireplace was always kept in pristine condition so they could entertain guests at any time. Walls colourfully decorated with tapestries and stained glass windows gave testament to their great fortune. The servants' first assignment every morning was to clean this room. Pitchers, silver plates and silverware were polished to a shine so they could be proudly put to use at a moment's notice. And for events like their daughter's birthday, the room served an even more important role. The table's tops were removable, so they had ordered new tabletops with designs made specifically for this occasion. And once the banquet had drawn to a close, tables speckled with half-empty wine glasses and leftover candied fruits were moved off to the side to make room for, of course, the festivities. Good evening, Lady Nellie. You're looking particularly lovely today. Nellie, I had these jewels cut just for you. You'll let me have this dance, won't you? What's the matter, Nellie? You look exhausted. These are pretty good. Want one? I know you like sweets. They're apples, candied in rock sugar, I think.
You disappoint me, dearest Mel. What do you think is the matter? They just keep coming. It never ends. It's driving me up the wall. Everyone's just repeating the same lines they've been taught. They all think pretty jewels and requests to dance are enough to make a girl swoon.
But I think that is true for you, Nellie. Though, why is she disappointed with me?
I think I'm done with birthday parties after this year.
They'll probably throw an even bigger one next year.
Huh? Why?
Well, you know, you're about that age, Nellie. We are a reasonably distinguished family, so there are a number of different houses that would like to have connections with us. So
what you're saying is do it for the family?
No, that's not.
I won't date or marry anyone. I have no interest in being used as a pawn in their inter-family politics.
Pawn? I wouldn't go that far. And I'm sure Father wants to let you choose yourself. You know, somebody you actually love.
Love? I never thought I would hear you talking about love, dearest Mel. You don't even understand what makes Shakespeare's plays so beautiful, and you're talking about love? You fell asleep during Romeo and Juliet, and you're talking about love? We went all the way out to the Globe Theatre, too.
Well, pardon me for being ignorant when it comes to romance and the arts. But you're not, Nellie. Shakespeare's make-believe story made you cry like a baby.
Anyone would cry at that. You'd have to be crazy to sleep through it.
That's not what I'm saying. Someone as emotionally vibrant as you, Nellie, would have no problem finding love.
Dearest Mel, we should dance.
Lady Nellie, could I have this?
Let's dance, dearest Mel.
Why is it me? Wait,
Come on, I really like this song.
Quit pulling on me, Nellie. What's the point of us dancing? We're siblings. Yeah, Mother and Father are staring daggers at us.
No matter. What day is it today, dearest Mel?
Your birthday?
Exactly. So I can do what I want. Now, attend to your princess as a proper prince should.
Oh, jeez. How did I get myself into this? Nellie's skirt fluttered along with her as she stepped into time to the music. She was not only a skilled singer, but a skilled dancer as well. Mel, on the other hand, fumbled over his own feet trying to keep up. One would be hard-pressed to describe his dance abilities as good, or even as flattery. Though boys of his pedigree were taught to dance as part of their etiquette lessons, he found himself more being dragged around by his sister. He could hardly be said to be attending to her. This is humiliating. Because his parents had been hands-off in raising him, largely giving him free rein to study and learn what he pleased, Mel looked like a tangled-up marionette. From throughout the hall, he could hear giggling, uncomfortable chuckling, and people coughing to disguise their laughter.
Come now, dearest Mel. If this is the best you can manage, what are you going to do when you find a girl that catches your eye?
I won't, so it doesn't matter.
Follow my lead, Mel. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nellie alone enjoyed her time dancing with her brother, and quite thoroughly at that. It did not matter to her that he moved awkwardly, or that the guests were giving them cold stares. It was their parents who first cracked under the pressure. Just as their father was about to give an exaggerated cough and stop the music, a ruckus suddenly swelled up near the entrance.
What could that be?
Who knows? Whatever's going on, I've been spared. The music came to a stop and the party guests began bustling. The sibling's father spoke up sternly above the noise in order to quell the spreading commotion. He ordered the servants to investigate, had the music restarted, gave a short apology for the interruption, and set the party back on course. I went to go check on the entrance with the other servants, as I recall. Oh my, why are you looking at me like that? These are not my memories, but those which dwell within the mansion. Do you think we should be following what happens next from my perspective, then? That is not what confused you. Well, your questions shall be answered in time. In time. Now, let us return to our tale. Though the party had fallen still for a moment, their father's decisive actions restored the guests' festive moods in short order. So it was not by any means the commotion that caused the ball to conclude earlier than planned.
Oh dear, I hear thunder.
It was rather loud too. Sounds like we have quite the storm brewing. They lived in a country where the weather was nothing if not unpredictable. Rain was a frequent occurrence there. The stretches of time with clear skies grew longer as summer approached, but the weather was still somewhat unstable on the cusp of the two seasons. They had a strong wind that night as well, which turned the raindrops into little spears on the window. Were the party to continue on any longer, no one would be able to go home. Although their father was quite concerned that Nellie had not got on with any of the aristocrat boys, he decided to cut the festivities short.
Thank goodness it ended early. How lucky I am. This must be a blessing for always being such a good girl.
I'm not sure having your own birthday party cut short counts as lucky.
But it was no fun. I can't help it if I'm not enjoying myself. And for heaven's sake, Arthur was here. I have no interest in dancing with that dunce.
Arthur? Who's that again? Someone who was here?
Unbelievable. You don't remember anything, do you, dearest Mel? He came over to play a few times when we were little. He's covered in gross freckles, and he is a huge jerk. He said my hair looked like the colour of fallen leaves. Fallen leaves. Just thinking about that ugly smirk has me fuming. And yet he acts like nothing happened. He even calls me Lady Nelly, for goodness sake. Are you listening, dearest Mel?
Yeah, I'm listening. I wonder what the ruckus was earlier.
Ugh, you weren't listening, were you? Who cares about that?
Sorry, but aren't you curious? It probably wasn't another guest, at least.
Maybe a cat sneaked in.
You think so?
I do. But enough about that. Would you like to play cards in my room, dearest Mel?
Seriously? I'm exhausted, though.
It's not even that late.
Fine. Something feels kind of off. A cat? I want to go check.
Come on, hurry up.
Hold on. You don't need to drag me, Nellie.
My birthday isn't over yet, so you're not done attending to me.
Oh, Nellie. The rain just won't let up. I can't sleep. I wonder what the commotion earlier was about. Oh, for goodness sake. It's all the storm's fault. That's why I can't sleep. I'm just fretting over nothing. I'm sure Nellie was right. It was just a cat. Maybe a dog. I can't sleep. I hardly ever have this much trouble falling asleep. What could this feeling be, I wonder? It's not quite foreboding. Walking around the house at this time of night isn't going to help anything. But I'm not going to fall asleep just lying here. The only sounds that could be heard in the dark corridors were the sharp pitter-patter of the rain, his footsteps, and his breathing. Though he was intimately familiar with the layout of the house, that night, the hallways felt like an endless labyrinth veiled in shadows. No moonlight shone through the windows, so he naturally found himself moving cautiously, despite being in his own residence. Keeping the palm of his hand pressed up against a chilly wall, he put one foot in front of the other. But to where was he supposed to be head? Mel, of course, had no way of answering that question himself. If he had anything, it was guidance from above, the path to his destination lit by flashes of lightning. Or perhaps there was something else leading him along. Though he progressed with a fair bit of hesitation in his step, Mel was slowly but surely drawing nearer to one room in particular. He made his way through the seemingly endless halls, past the living room, its fireplace long since cooled, into another corridor, and then stopped outside an Abigail's bedchamber. The dim glow of a lamp spilled through the cracks in the door. A gust of wind is not necessary to make a flame flicker. A person's movements or vibrations in the air from someone speaking, the slightest of motions can cause the light of a fire to quiver, shifting subtly as though nudged by an invisible fingertip. I can see light from inside. Is she still awake? A voice. He seemed to be hesitating. It would not be difficult for him to approach the door and peer inside, but he had reservations about peeping in on another's chambers, even if it was his own house. Moreover, this room was assigned to a woman. There was a woman behind that door. What would you do, Master, in this situation? Would you succumb to your curiosity and gaze inside? Or would you respect the owner's privacy? I shouldn't be doing this. But the voice, it feels like it's calling to me or someone else. Yes, me, could sense someone watching me at that moment. He had succumbed to his curiosity. He stood on the other side of the door from me, his flaxen eyes open wide, trying to remain as invisible as possible. The wavering in his heart seemed to create faint ripples in the air, which I pretended not to notice. Yes, I knew he was there. I could sense his presence and his wavering emotions. However, I could not begin to speculate as to his true feelings, or how great a surprise this was to him. I too am discovering new facets of this tale by viewing it through the eyes of the mansion. But it is not I who is of concern, Master. It is you. You and... I know I shouldn't be doing this. I should be ashamed of myself. But I can't look away. Who is that? Her skin so pale you can practically see through it. Is it that white because she was out in the cold rain? Her hair is white as snow, and her eyes, they're like, how do I describe it? My vocabulary truly lacks for situations like this. They look like blood? No, that's just disturbing. Then wine, perhaps. No, more translucent than that. Gemstones, then. Yes, gemstones. Her eyes are like rubies. I've never seen anyone like her before. What could they be talking about? Mel's eyes were affixed on the peculiar young woman. She had glass-like skin, eyes that glimmered in the flickering candlelight, and snow-white hair that flowed like luxurious silk. But her lips were bluish-purple, her soft, delicate skin sullied with grime, her twinkling eyes pointed down at the floor, and her hair a dishevelled mess. She was, even at a glance, clearly not a lady of means. The tips of her fingers were cracked from the cold, her nails pale from malnutrition, and her garb little more than rags. However, true beauty is always visible, no matter what it may be hidden beneath. Even wrapped in a veil of insalubrity, even if she thought herself hideous. I wonder what happened to her. Mel could no longer avert his gaze from the girl's visage. He had, for the time being, forgotten the shame he felt for peeping. As he strained his ears to hear the conversation taking place inside, a sickly voice arose from the white-haired girl's purple lips. So feeble was the sound that a gentle breeze blowing through the room could carry it away. I apologize for the trouble. Think nothing of it. Give your apologies and thanks to the mistress. Understood. There is something strangely comforting about this house. Almost as if I've been here before. If my father were here, I'm sure he would be quite fond of it. I am sorry about your father. That's not... There's nothing you could have done, I imagine. When you came to our rescue, he was already... Rescue? Father? Was that perchance what the commotion was about? He stared intently, entranced by the scene unfolding beyond the door. A gaze can often signal one's presence to others more effectively than words. The white-haired girl could likely sense him there as well. She flickered her gem-like eyes upward. That was when the boy finally felt a pang of panic. For a split second, his flaxen eyes met her ruby eyes, causing him to recoil from the door. His heart was pounding like the rain outside. Careful not to make a sound, he took 2 steps away. Did she catch me? I'm not sure. It was only for a moment. She can't have seen me. The boy did not have the courage to peek in on the room a second time, so he cautiously returned to his bedchamber as quietly as he could manage. But even beneath the covers, he could not erase that girl's eyes from his memory. Her melancholic red irises, her voice, delicate as a glass sculpture, her pale, almost lifeless skin, her pure white hair. Every singular detail kept him from banishing her image from his mind. Nor could he restrain his heavy pounding heart. Who could she be? Is something the matter? No. I just thought I felt someone watching us. It's only your imagination, I'm sure. If not your imagination, then perhaps some unseen force was watching you. Unseen force? Are you familiar with how people refer to this mansion? Rose Manor. Yes, indeed. It is called Rose Manor because you can smell the sweet fragrance of the rose garden even at a great distance. But that is not what I meant. It is said that a witch resides within the house. A witch? I have not heard such stories. You probably wouldn't have. It was a very, very long time ago. Nothing you need concern yourself with. You have a particular presence about you. Should I consider that a compliment? It's getting late. You should get some rest. A room has already been set aside for you. But first, may I ask you one thing? Yes? I do not believe you have given me your name yet. My name? My name is... I know. Elle. Wake up. Get up, Mel. What? Yeah, it's morning. You disappoint me, dearest Mel. It's very much long since morning. I didn't see you at breakfast, so I came to find out what was the matter. I've really been asleep that long? And father is too lenient on you, dearest Mel. Oversleeping is hardly proper behavior for a firstborn son. I know. But before that... Yes, dearest Mel? What are you doing in here? You can't just go prancing into a boy's bedchamber. Leave that to the servants. I did send one for you. You're the one who refused to wake up. Besides, it's not like we're strangers. We used to sleep together all the time. That was long ago. Things are different now. Oh, you're overthinking it, silly. Now hurry up. Get out of bed, sleepyhead. All right, I'm getting up. So you can see yourself out. Oh my, you look awful, dearest Mel. For someone who's overslept, you look like you didn't sleep a wink last night. You think so? You didn't go out on the town last night, did you? Naughty, naughty boy. I would never. You know that. You squeaked. I don't think I believe you. I didn't go out last night, or anything. I'm tired because you had me playing cards until late, Nellie. Hey! We weren't playing for that long. Besides, look at me. I got up just fine. Anyway, shoo. I can't get dressed with you in here. Fine, I'm leaving. Oh, I almost forgot, dearest Mel. What now? Come on, no need to be mean. I'm sure you'll be quite surprised at the news. Oh? At breakfast, which you missed, Father told us... Told you what? Do I really want to say? It sounds like you want me out of your room, dearest Mel. Please, Nellie. We got a new maid today from a house we have ties to, supposedly. I've never seen anyone like her before. For supposedly coming from a good family, she isn't very graceful, and I've never seen her at social gatherings. But that's not the surprising part. Does that maid... She's peculiar. Has a very unusual appearance, that one. Have white hair. What? How do you know that, dearest Mel? Thanks, Nellie. Hey, get back here! Oh, for goodness sake, what's gotten into him? Bah! At the time, the majority of servants at the mansion were men. However, the ladies of the house all had Abigails, so there were several women servants, myself included. The maids, by and large, were selected from the daughters of other esteemed families. It was, you could say, a sort of training before they entered society. The girls would serve at houses even more powerful than their own, and the white-haired girl Mel saw the night before was one such maid. When he heard this, Mel could not sit still any longer. Oh, I didn't really think this through, did I? I don't even know where she is. I'm guessing she's probably Mother's maid? White hair. It has to be the girl from last night. But deep down, he was having difficulty believing the young woman he had seen the previous night was truly here to be a servant. And can you blame him? When he saw her, she was an absolute mess, hardly what you would envision from a girl of class. But he did not seek her to find out whether that was true. He merely wanted to see her once more to ascertain whether what he had witnessed the previous night was real or his imagination. And he wanted to have an actual conversation with her. I don't want to run into Mother. That would be awkward. He was heading towards his mother's bedchamber, but the closer he drew, the heavier each step grew. He rounded a corner, debating whether or not to head back, and stopped in his tracks. On occasion, wishes do come true. When Mel turned the corner, he saw her, the same girl, that same white hair. She appeared to be cleaning the hallway. She traced along the wooden carvings lining the walls, making certain not to miss even a speck of dust. The girl wore a pristine dress, the uniform of the mansion's Abigails. There was no longer any filth to obscure her beauty. All that had covered her pure white hair and glass-like skin was no longer. The one thing that had not changed was her listless ruby eyes. Pardon me. Hearing his footsteps, the young woman raised her head. She caught Mel's gaze and for a brief moment merely blinked at him in silence. Lord Mel, yes? Your father informed me of you. Did he? I guess I don't need to introduce myself then. I believe she made an attempt to smile, though it was difficult to tell, and she quickly dropped her gaze back to the floor. Flax and Ruby met only for the briefest moment. She seemed to be looking at both someone and no one at all. Everyone here truly has the most beautiful colour of hair. Did you have business with the mistress, Lord Mel? I can let her know if you like. No. I was looking for you. For me? Mel felt as though all the blood in his body had begun to flow backwards. He could not effectively describe the sensation, but in a word, it resembled panic. On his way to find her, Mel had come up with a number of subjects he wanted to talk about, and he generally had little trouble speaking with others. He'd had less experience interacting with women, this was true, but the time he had spent around Nellie had kept him from stumbling too much. Until then... yes, for you. Why would you be looking for me, Lord Mel? I was wondering how you were doing. Pardon? I am quite fine. Good. That's great to hear. You fool, Mel. What are you even saying? You can have more important thing to ask, like where she came from, or to tell her she has pretty hair and eyes. But I don't want to trouble her too much. Lord Mel? Yes? Sorry, you just suddenly fell silent. Was I, in your way? In my way? No, not at all. What are you up to? I'm cleaning. Well, yeah, I didn't even need to ask. Ah, you're cleaning. You can just let the other servants take care of the cleaning. You're one of the noble's daughters we took in, right? Then why is Mother making... No, I am doing this because I want to. The mistress appeared to be busy and I could not simply be idle. But I enjoy cleaning. Well, if you say so. Say, yesterday, this mansion is truly a thing of beauty. All the many roses in the garden, even the furnishing, has had a great deal of thought put into it. This family must have a wonderful sense of aesthetic. Oh, yeah, thanks. Did she just change the subject on me? I'm delighted to have been given the opportunity to serve at such a magnificent house. Mother and father actually had nothing to do with that, not even the garden. That's all been around since my grandfather's time. This mansion was a complete wreck when he bought it. Oh, was it? Yeah, frankly I'm surprised he actually paid money for it. The chandelier in the foyer was shattered and only half attached to the ceiling. Most of the decorations on the walls were broken. I can hardly imagine. This is a marvelous, impressive house. I'm sure he'd be flattered to hear it. My grandfather was a bit of an eccentric. He liked to do things people didn't expect just to watch the looks of surprise on their faces. He was the kind of man who would buy a mansion that was beyond repair just to give it a completely new life. Everyone who has seen the property before was renovated was astonished. They regretted not taking the opportunity themselves, seeing the transformation it underwent. Huh? I was just thinking that you're kind of like this house. What do you mean by that? I mean when you first arrived. Oh, never mind, forget it. She'll figure out you were peeping on her, stupid. She hasn't yet, has she? Yes. It's nothing. The more I think about it, you and the mansion aren't really comparable. Oh. The truth is, it being a rundown mess isn't the only reason nobody wanted to buy this house. They say that all who dwell within this house shall be met with misfortune. Do you believe it? I'm just kidding. It's not actually true. It's all rumours and hearsay, embellished to make the tale more exciting. The rumours only started because of how it used to look. If the mansion truly begot misfortune, then we wouldn't still be here. And it wouldn't explain how my grandfather died. Do you know how he passed away? No. How did he? Inside a lovely lady. What? Believe it or not, that's how he died. Together with a young, beautiful woman. His time ran out while he was making love to her, they say. A rather crude way to go. But he was hardly misfortunate. What did I tell you? Yes? Just so you know, I promise I didn't inherit my grandfather's propensity for such base behavior. I am pure of body and spirit, dedicated wholly to my studies, so... Hey, she laughed. My apologies. No, it's fine. Anyway, we were talking about the mansion, right? I've always thought it was kind of a strange place myself. That dress you're wearing, it was found here after my grandfather bought it. You don't see that kind of design around these parts, so I'm guessing it was probably imported. The architecture is really old-fashioned too, which must have caught grandfather's eye. When he announced his plans to buy it, the entire family opposed his decision, but he refused to budge. Renovation upon renovation gave the mansion new life, but of all his work, he was most fond of the roses in the garden. He collected species from all across the world, and every time he got a new one, he would summon gardeners to arrange and grow them. It took incredibly long to complete. There were even some that wouldn't grow in the climate of this land, but grandfather refused to give in. He truly loved roses. Me, I don't really get how someone could be so impassioned about them. It's just embarrassing every time someone calls this house Rose Manor. Perhaps the roses were meant for someone. What? I'm simply speculating. Roses make wonderful gifts after all. Indeed they do. If you like roses as much as Nellie, then you're welcome to go see them for yourself. Pick as many as you'd like. If anyone asks, just say I gave your permission. Don't be shy. I'm sure it'll get tiring if all you do is work. No, I'm sensitive to sunlight. Oh, that's unusual. Perhaps that explains why you're so pale. I had no idea. That sounds rough. And your skin is so pretty too. You don't seem terribly surprised. What? Oh, no, I'm very much surprised. Or would you have preferred a more dramatic response? No, I expected you to find it disturbing. I'm sensitive to sunlight and can hardly spend any time outside. That makes me sound like some kind of demonic creature. Oh, you worry too much. There's not a monster in the world as sweet as you. Yes? Are the other maids teasing you, perhaps? That black-haired one especially. She's... how should I put it? A little frightening? Almost as if she has a steel heart or something. She's impenetrable. Right, she's one of Mother's maids too, isn't she? Now I'm even more worried. Since you refuse to follow my instructions, you are henceforth hellspawn. I can imagine her saying that. Oh, and again. I am very sorry. No need to apologize. In fact, I wish you'd laugh more. She's actually very kind to me, and everything she does with incredible precision and efficacy. She looks so young, and yet she has such skill. How long has she been here in the mansion? Actually, yeah, she's been here for quite some time, but I don't know exactly how long. No one knows how old she is. It's kind of creepy. I have never once considered her such. Sorry, you're right. It's bad manners to speak ill of others. Either way, she still scares me. It's like there's no light in her eyes, or like her smiles are all faked. That doesn't make her any less pretty, though. The conversation died. I have to think of something else to talk about. Yes. You can ask me anything. Does the master, your father, Lord Mel, often retire from the mansion? I have not seen him around. Oh, yeah, father frequently returns home. This mansion is actually our secondary home. Why do you ask, though? I was just curious. Nothing more. Oh. Oh? Yes? What is it? One of the maids asked to see me, so I should be on my way. If you'll excuse me. What? Alright. See you later then. Goodbye. Oh, right, one moment. Since you're sensitive to the sun, I can pick some roses from time to time for you. For you to decorate your room. Lord Mel. That's all. Sorry for holding you up. Why am I so bad at this? She definitely thinks I'm obnoxious. I want to hide under a rock. I want to reverse time and try this all over again. Roses are not becoming of me. He is too kind. Speaking of save, I need to find out how to. I need to save at the next. You have my thanks, Father. And I apologize for being late today. Now there's something unusual. You not being punctual. Maybe next we'll go a whole month without rain. Do have mercy on next year's crop smell. You hyperbolize, Father. So, did something nice happen? Huh? You look like you're in good spirits. Do I? No, nothing. Something did happen, didn't it? It's all over my face, isn't it? People prefer an open book to a face of stone. So it is. People may prefer it, but it's not a good trait to have for social engagements. What? Not the kind of engagements you'll be having anyway. I'm sorry, don't look so dejected. For now, at least, there's nothing wrong with that. So tell me, what has you in such a joyous mood, Mel? You torment me so, Father. We've taken on another maid. You know how that goes, right? Someone new comes and things get lively for a while. All the excitement has gotten to me, that's all. Oh. But why are you looking at me like that? No reason, no reason. So, what family does the little lady come from? Oh, I don't actually know. You don't know? I was going to ask her, but I missed my chance. Father has returned home, and I can't speak to Mother. I see. She's caught your eye, hasn't she? Yeah, she has. But the truth is, you're more than just interested in her, are you not? What? No, I... You truly do enjoy tormenting me. Well, I should be getting home now. Mel. Yes? Make certain you find out where she's from. If you're genuinely interested in her, it's your responsibility to determine if she's actually suitable for you. Thank you, and excuse me. It doesn't matter if she's from an esteemed family or not. No, I'm not in love with her. I'm just interested. This isn't love. No, it couldn't be. This is me we're talking about. Besides, I hardly even know her. Young sire, blessed young sire, alms for the poor? It's the same beggar as before. I don't think he's moved since then, but he looks skinnier than last time. He's going to have trouble making it through the summer. I should give him something while I still have the chance. Alms for the poor? Have mercy. Sorry, but this is all I have to give you. Thank you very much. Blessings upon you. May the Lord bless your soul, young sire. Thanks. I feel bad for him, but that's just the way of the world. Farewell. The skies are really clear. The sun shone fiercely down on the town that day. As was characteristic of the area, cloudy days and rain were frequent during this season, but the sun almost always took the stage the day after a storm. The cathedral standing tall in the centre of town, the stone-paved streets clacking with the pleasant sound of footsteps, the people peering out from beneath awnings to look up at the sky. In Mel's eyes, it was as if they were all blessed by a divine light. However, not everyone living in the same land was equally blessed. In fact, the blessed were far outnumbered by the forsaken. Even if their time would later come to be referred to as the Golden Age. Elsewhere, back at the mansion, Nellie was causing trouble for the Abigails. On a whim, she had decided to redecorate her bedchamber. So she gathered the maids and put them to work, shouting orders and demands and complaints. And she had not summoned only her personal servants, but others as well, including the white-haired girl.
No, not like that. How many times must I tell you? The tapestry goes by the door. And I don't like the carpet's pattern. Is there anything else we can change it with? Hey! Who put this ugly vase here?
Nellie appeared to be rather irritated, and it was the servants who bore the brunt of her frustration. Though, if they found this similarly vexing, none of them showed it. She was a girl who spoke her mind, a trait particular to that time in history. Women of the Golden Age were so vivacious, in fact, that it inspired parody and satire in foreign countries. But, no matter how hands-off her parents were, had Nellie been born a generation earlier, or a generation later, she would likely not have been able to act so free-spirited. That day, however, Nellie did not seem to be her usual self. Though she always spoke her mind, it rarely went beyond being childishly adorable. It was unusual to see her in such a foul mood, not even a smile on her face.
Ugh! Get rid of all of it. That carpet, that chair, the desk, it's all so ugly. Don't we have anything better? If we don't, then order it. Have it made. You can do that much, can't you? Hurry up and replace them.
Having only arrived that morning, the white-haired girl was unsure what she was supposed to be doing, caught in the middle of a flurry of maids and furniture and fabric. She chased frantically scrambling Abigails with her eyes and made attempts to help, but not being familiar with the work, she only ended up getting in their way. She probably felt that everyone would be better off with her not in the room. So when the maids ordered to get new furniture made their way out of Nellie's room, she attempted to follow them.
You! Hold on a second. You! Yes, you with the white hair.
However, Nellie stopped her before she could take her leave. What? The white-haired girl turned back, bewildered, to find Nellie smiling at her. The corners of her mouth turned up into a self-assured grin. There was no trace of timidity or uncertainty in her demeanour. Her flaxen eyes seemed like they would look nice under the light of the sun. Almost the exact opposite of the white-haired girl.
I wanted to talk to you, actually. But Mother never was one to share. I asked her to trade maids, but she wouldn't have it.
Trade? You mean for...
Which is why I decided to completely redecorate my room, because then I would need some extra hands.
But why?
Because Mother and her father refused to tell me anything. Why is that? Who are you exactly? Where did you come from? Tell me, what house are you from? Why can't you tell me? If we took you in, you must be from a fairly decent family. As a member of the Rhodes family, I have a right to know. Do I not? You can't expect me to welcome a girl into my house who won't even tell me where she's from. I don't know anything about you. I haven't seen you at any parties.
I came from another country.
Another country? What country?
Somewhere very, very far away.
Oh? North of here? East? West? South?
South. It's south from here. I crossed the sea to get here, which is why we have never met before.
How far did you have to travel then? How many times did the sun rise? And how many stormy nights did you face?
Innumerable days and nights we sailed, heading ever further north.
Huh. So tell me.
Lady Nellie, that is a most wonderful painting.
She just tried to brush me off. I won't let her get away that easy. Painting? It's in my room, so of course it's wonderful.
But that one's especially so. You're both so adorable, you, Lady Nellie, and Lord Mel. How old were you when it was painted?
Huh? Ah, that painting. Goodness, yes, you have a good eye for art. It is magnificent, isn't it? This was done when I was 4 and Mel was 7. You see how we're standing next to each other, holding hands? I was too young to remember it very well, but Mel looks like he was really embarrassed. But standing there like statues makes for a boring painting.
Nell explained brightly. Having completely forgotten she was pressed up against a white-haired girl, she did a little twirl, stopping to face the portrait. Though many paintings lined the walls of her room, Nellie was most fond of the one of her and her brother. 2 darling siblings standing side by side, the older brother smiling kindly and the younger sister sweetly tilting her head, her cheeks the colour of fresh-picked apples. It was like the very embodiment of their happiness. A painting lays its subjects bare, you know, fortune and misfortune, happiness and sorrow, enshrined on canvas for all to see. And this reflection is not merely limited to the point in time it was made either. Did you know, Master, that paintings are alive? They are drawn with a brush over an extended stretch of time, unlike photographs which capture a singular moment. The two have their own individual merits, but a photograph is still while a painting moves. Portraits reveal both the past and the present state of those they depict.
Mel and I have always been close. I would sing songs for him, and he would teach me all about all sorts of things. He's so smart. Nowadays, Mel hardly even goes on walks with me, making excuses like I'm an adult now. But we used to spend a lot of time playing together in the rose garden.
I see. The white-haired girl normally had difficulty smiling, but her lips naturally curled upward as Nellie reminisced. A vision of the 2 happy siblings had probably swelled up in her mind, and imagine there was a faint trace of envy in her heart as well. Lady Nellie, you love Lord Mel quite deeply, I see.
Yes, of course I do. Mel's smart, and he's studious, and he's incredibly kind. For my birthday, he gave me this wonderful rose necklace. The jewellery shop he got it from is famous because even the royal family makes commissions from their workshop. So he had to have ordered it months in advance, just for me. He's a prince.
Oh?
He's pretty charming, wouldn't you say? That's why I call him my prince. But you know what? Mel is a terrible dancer, and he still hasn't got his feet on the ground yet, and he's so bad at interacting with girls, so there's no one else who would say that about him.
He is quite the gentleman. I assumed women would be drawn to him.
Gentleman? Have you met Mel already?
This morning, briefly.
That reminds me. Mel seems to know about her too. What do you think about Mel?
As I said, he is a gentleman.
That's not what I mean. Don't think I'll let you get away with putting any funny ideas in his head.
What?
Mel is too trusting. He's pure of heart. So I won't stand for you trying to take advantage of him.
I would never.
So you say, but you actually want to get close to him.
I wouldn't dream of it, Lady Nellie. He is a man far beyond my reach.
You aren't planning on doing anything, are you?
Not at all.
And you don't have any romantic feelings for him, do you?
What?
Well, do you?
I have no romantic feelings for him, Lady Nellie.
And you won't develop any?
I will not. And with that, Nellie gave a wide, satisfied grin. Even though one has no way of knowing how another truly feels, or how they might in the future.
You wouldn't, would you? Now that I think about it, there are plenty of other boys. You getting together with Mel is downright absurd.
Indeed.
But anyway, back to what we were talking about earlier. Your family, I almost forgot. You haven't told me exactly where you come from, or anything about your... Lady Nellie, I've bought a new carpet. Just look at the embroidery. The work of a true artisan. I'm simply in love with it. Surely you will find it to your liking as well. Wow, you're right. That's a Florentine stitch, isn't it? I wonder whether someone mimicked the style or if it was imported. Either way, a great find. Let's hurry up and get it laid out. Oh, and we'll have to see how the colours go with everything else. We have to finish redecorating quickly so I can show Mel. He'll be so surprised. What wonderful taste you have, Nellie.
When the other Abigails returned, so too did the bustle within Nellie's room. As the white-haired girl watched, a faint smile crossed her lips. Perhaps it was from relief at having escaped Nellie's inquisition. Or perhaps...
Nellie, I'm back. Did you eat something you're not supposed to, dearest Mel? You're unusually cheerful.
I'm the same as always. Anyway...
Never mind that, dearest Mel. Take a look at my room. I redecorated today.
So that's what you've been doing, hiding away in the house all day, Nellie.
How is that any different than what you were doing? You were in the church all day.
I guess.
I will look at your room.
Oh, I will look at your room, I promise. But first, do you know where the new maid is? Now, don't get any strange ideas. I just haven't yet had the chance to introduce myself, and I thought I should, as a member of the family.
Except you have, and I know it.
Being the eldest son, it would be shameful if she were to pass me in the halls, not even knowing who I am, so...
Don't ask me.
What? But you were in the house all day.
She attends to Mother, so why would I know where she is? Though she did help redecorate my room.
You made her help? That's work for the men servants. There's no reason to make the maids do it.
Oh, so you're saying I should invite a bunch of men into my room?
I go into your room all the time, Nellie, and you were in my bedchamber just this morning.
Only one man is allowed into my room, dearest Mel, and that is you. So unless you become a servant, which I will not stand for, I will not ask any of them for help.
Oh, Nellie, you want to be a little more...
A little more what? If you're going to lecture me, I won't hear it.
What am I going to do with you, my little lady?
What? What? Why are you looking at me like that? We talked about you, dearest Mel. And I'm not going to let you tell you what she said.
About me? What did she say? Please, Nellie.
She said she has no romantic interest in you.
What? Why did that even come up?
Because we're both girls. We talk about things like that. Like what kind of boys we like and who's the most handsome. Why do you look so downtrodden, dearest Mel? You look like a sad little boy who can't get his crush to notice him. That face is unbecoming of a prince, Mel. Are you interested in her? That's strange. You haven't even met.
I'm not. It's just depressing to find out that someone you've never even met doesn't like you. That's all. If I'm going to make my move, I must do it soon. I don't have much time. The master of the house isn't around, so next in line would be him. That painting. Despite his near devastation by Nellie's news, Mel's flaxen eyes continued to wander in hopes of catching sight of the girl. By now, it should be quite obvious to you what Mel was feeling. But the boy himself was having difficulty comprehending the things going through his heart. Emotionally, he was horribly unstable, like a ship without sail. And still, every time he spotted the white-haired girl, his heart would leap, his whole body jitter with anxiety and excitement. He had never felt anything like this before, and as such, he struggled to keep these strange emotions in check. Whenever he saw an opportunity, Mel would speak to the white-haired girl, and days he was unable to, he either spent in secluded silence or a distracted daze. Love is a curious thing. It has the power to change those who experience it. When he did manage to approach her, he tripped over his tongue. Again and again he talked to her, and again he stumbled. I imagine if you were to take him to see a romantic at the theatre, to see a romance at the theatre in his present state, he would cry just as much as little Nellie. We cry at tragedies because we draw parallels with our own lives. At least that's what I think. Great tales of romance attain true gravity with the audience only when they are personally familiar with love. In any event, the white-haired girl was, as a result of this, visibly perturbed. She was delighted that he was being so kind to her, but confusion overpowered every other emotion. She appeared to be at a loss for what to do as he clumsily catapulted words and stares at her. But Mel did not back down, though he probably knew not what caused such fiery emotion to erupt from within his breast. One's first love, in particular, tends to burn like a wildfire. Are you familiar with the sensation, Master? Oh. There she is. Is she cleaning? No, it looks like she's reading. It's now or never. Boo! Ah! Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Lord Mal, you very clearly meant to scare me. Because you just wouldn't notice me. What are you reading? You looked pretty engrossed. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked for permission. It's fine. No need to apologize. Feel free to read whatever you want, and you're welcome to bring books back to your room if you'd like to spend more time with them. But I was just amazed that the mansion had a library. It must have been a lot of work to collect all these books. There are some pretty old ones in here too. Your grandfather's? Some that he collected, and some even older than that. Take a look at this. I think it's a diary, but it's not from this country. Or this century, for that matter. Maybe a feudal lord? Here, he's complaining about the quality of the harvest. Can this forsaken land only produce over sour grapes? Ha! If only the largest of the... Barney? Or maybe Barnier? If only of the largest of the Barnier estates were mine instead. The land there is much more suitable to cultivation. There you have it.
You can read this, Lord Mel?
More or less. I've looked over it several times already, so it wasn't too difficult.
Why would such an old book be here?
I'm not sure. It and all of this was already here when I moved into the mansion.
Have you not lived here your whole life?
I was born at our estate, but to me and Nellie, this is more like our home. We moved when I was still young, and we've lived here ever since. Nellie and Mother have both grown quite fond of it. Father, though, often goes back to the house because he doesn't like all the roses.
By himself?
Yeah, well, sometimes Mother goes with him. But for the most part, he goes alone. But don't get me wrong, it's not because they don't get along. In fact, they act more like teenagers in love than grown adults. It almost makes me sick having to watch it.
It is a wonderful thing to be so close, no matter how old they may be.
True, but still.
There are those in the world who cannot be with the ones they care for, as much as they may wish.
I'm sorry about that. Oh, that's right, the book. What were you reading?
I wasn't exactly reading. I can't. I do not enjoy reading lots of text, so I was looking at the pictures.
Is that so? You seem very cultured, so I thought you would be partial to reading. Perhaps you're actually more like Nellie and eschew your studies.
Yes.
I wouldn't have guessed. But you like looking at pictures?
I do.
What else do you like?
What?
What do you enjoy doing? It can be anything.
I enjoy being told stories.
Stories?
Yes. When I was young, my father would tell me tales.
What kind of stories did you like?
There was one about an imprisoned girl.
Tell it to me.
Once there was a girl, and she was locked away in a mansion deep in the forest. A mansion with only one window. But the window sat high upon the wall, far beyond her reach, so it was always very dark inside, unlike this mansion. However, the girl did not like the outside world. There were lots of scary things out there after all. Though she may have been all alone in the mansion, she grew comfortable with the darkness in time, so she had nothing to be afraid of. And then, am I doing a good job?
You're doing fine. Keep going. What happens next?
Oh, okay. And then the girl grew up. By then, she had already forgotten why she was locked up, but she was content with the darkness. However, her eyes couldn't help but be drawn to the little bit of light that spilled through the one window. Though she was comfortable in the darkness, the sight of the light made her heart race. At first, the little girl thought it was because she found it unpleasant, because she disliked the light and the outside. But slowly she came to realize that she was curious about the outside world. What could be happening out there? For all she knew, the town, the forest, the people, all of it could have changed while she was imprisoned in the mansion. But she had no way of finding out. So the girl decided to write letters and throw them out of the window. What began as empty grasping became routine, continuing for several months until she was finally ready to give up. But then a beautiful white dove flew in through the window.
Tied to the dove's leg was a letter. Her heart racing, she read the words contained within. It seemed to have been written by a man. The letter contained numerous questions for the girl. It also said if she attached her reply to the dove, it would bring the letter back to him. She was astonished, but she wrote him back anyway, taking care not to mention where she was. After having exchanged letters a number of times, the two felt very close to one another, as though they had known each other for many years despite having never met. And eventually the man said he wanted to meet her. Indeed. The girl was unsure what to do. Should she tell him of how she lived? Should she reveal where she spent her days? She was afraid if she did, he would cease to send her letters. She was sure he believed her to be a young lady of noble blood, and not a girl locked away in a house deep in the forest. The girl could not bring herself to write a response. She released the dove through the window with nothing attached to its leg. And yet it returned with another letter, written in the man's familiar hand. "You must surely have a grave reason for your silence," it said. "I would like to know that reason, and I would like to help you, no matter what it may be. You have my word." She deliberated. Though his letters were kind, she did not know this man. He was from the outside. Would he still treat her the same way when he met her? And did she even want to step out into the world beyond? What do you think she did? Wrote a letter and agreed to meet him, right? Yes, she did. The girl made up her mind she would write a letter. As always, when she tied it to the dove's leg, it flew off out the window, and for some time after that, she received no response from the man. This saddened her, but she thought it was for the best. She belonged in her own confined world, her world of darkness. But then one day, light shone into the mansion. The sealed door had been opened, and in the doorway stood a handsome young man. "I have come for you," he said. The man was a prince from a neighbouring kingdom. When the girl stepped outside, before her sat a magnificent carriage, the likes of which she had never seen before, accompanied by many servants. The prince, kind as in the letters, swore his love to her, and the two lived happily ever after. What a nice story. I'm glad it had a happy ending. A prince. Was there something funny about the story? No, that's not why I was laughing. Do you ever imagine what it would be like if a prince showed up for you? Huh? It doesn't have to be a real prince, even just someone like one. Is that something you dream about? Oh, no. I think I'm perhaps a little old for that. You think so? Nellie still fantasizes about her prince, and she's 14. I just assumed all girls were the same. Lady Nellie's prince? That's you, Lord Mel, no? Where? Is it not? I mean, we used to play make-believe a lot when we were kids, but I very much doubt she still thinks of me that way in earnest. When she calls me her prince now, it's mostly in jest. If it weren't, that would be concerning. Oh? That story. Do you know if it's a regional tale, one that's been passed down through the ages? I am not sure. It could very well be of my father's own creation. You might think me conceited, but I think the story might be about me. The girl trapped in the mansion is you? You haven't been locked up anywhere before, have you? No, thankfully, I've never been locked up before. Thank goodness. But with an appearance like mine, I can sympathize with her being afraid of the outside world. I have, at times, imagined how wonderful life would be if it were only me and my father. But the girl left the house in the end. If your father really wrote that story, then I believe it contains his hope for you to end up the same way. Oh? I don't have what it takes to be a real prince and whisk you away, but I can at least pretend. So, if it was your father's wish for you to see the outside world, then surely there's nothing wrong with you getting out and experiencing all the scenery that world has to offer. I want to see the outside too. Or to be more specific, other countries. So, if you'd like, we could maybe go see distant lands together.
Ah, dearest Mel, I've been looking all over for you.
Nellie?
Look at this, dearest Mel. Mother bought me these wonderful gloves to wear on walks. The roses embroidered on the wrists are just precious.
Oh my, you're right. They are beautiful. You appear to be dizzy, Lord Mel. Are you feeling unwell? No, I'm fine. Mel was feeling frustrated at his inability to convey his feelings to her, and his frustration built up over time. He developed, I suppose you could call it, a severe case of lovesickness. For several consecutive nights he had been inflicted with a peculiar sensation, a presence in his bedchamber. Death. Death to the unholy one. Death to the heretic. Death to the witch. Kill. Bloody fuck. She's... Why? I never wanted her to die. Was she not eating? Seal off the tower. Understood? No one finds out about this. How can you be so calm? Don't you understand what you've done? Ha! Pinning the blame on me? How nice it must be to be able to distort reality with panic. You're just as guilty as any of us. I never wanted her to die. The witch killed her. The blood of the witch killed my... A dream? What was that dream? It was horribly unsettling. I was holding someone, a girl I cared for dearly, in my arms, and she was limp. It was almost as if she were dead. I've been having a lot of really unpleasant dreams lately. I can't stop shaking. Why would I have such a dream? I feel sick. Back to sleep. But I wonder, who was that girl? I can sense someone standing beyond my door. Is someone there? It's like they're watching me. Is it just my imagination? I can't move. What do you want? Go away. The sound is growing fainter. Is that truly what your story meant, Father? But it's such a magnificent garden. Something we could never have had. Are my intentions misguided? What a beautiful white rose. You know, you could have sneaked into his room rather easily then. No one was watching. How long have you... Oh, you needn't pay me any mind. I shall not condemn you, no matter what you might do. Rather, I am on your side. I was not going to do anything. Oh? Is that so? Then perhaps you are out for a late-night stroll. I imagine you have less difficulties going outside at night. I beg your pardon. I will return to the mansion immediately. Oh yes, that reminds me. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer's servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I'm sure you would have heard about it. Oh? Although, was Gamache imprisoned? Dear me, I am having trouble remembering. But worry not. If you wish for it, the mansion shall provide. You are in no danger whatsoever of getting caught. You said that a witch lives in the mansion, did you not? I did. Does that sound, perhaps, a bit archaic to you? No. I believe those rumours mockingly refer to me. Oh my. I have been accused of being a witch before. Which is amusing. I don't have any magical powers. I simply have an unusual appearance. My, what a lovely shade of red. The rose. Is something the matter? This rose was white until I took it in my hand. Is that so? I apologize. I must sound mad. I'm sure I was just mistaken. It couldn't possibly have changed. I wonder. Yes. Did the girl locked in the mansion become a princess? We should lock up and head to bed. Make sure all of the shutters are closed nice and tight, and then draw the bar on the front door. Slowly but surely, time trekked onward, everyone working around their own individual goals. Each early summer breeze that blew through the garden was like God's hallowed breath carrying the flower's fragrance in through Rose Manor's window. If only time could be stopped and this beautiful era made to live on through eternity. As usual, Mel's eyes chased after the white-haired girl, and Nellie pursued her lips in frustration at him. Pursed her lips in frustration at him. But she was still rather docile, even taking into account how self-centered she behaved, how fickle her temper. Nellie's fits were still no worse than a playful kitten. See? At that very moment, our lively little feline had her claws poised to swat at the flaxen-haired young man. Mel, you promised me, or have you forgotten? I haven't forgotten. I'm just asking if we can go another day. Another day? This isn't something that happens every day. I've been looking forward to tonight's performance for so long. There's nothing I can do about that. We're having a gathering at the priest's home tonight. Several high-ranking officials have come up from the mainland just for this. Who cares? I care. You know, Nellie, it doesn't have to be me who goes with you. No, I want to go with you, Mel. You've been so distant lately, dearest Mel. You refuse to do anything with me. That's not true. Tell me, if you can't go today, when can you? When will you be willing to go out with me? When will you be willing to play cards with me, to have tea together? I can't make any promises. I have things to do, obligations. And Nellie, you're almost an adult yourself. Stop acting like such a child.
I'm not an adult yet. I'm still a kid. If it means I don't get to play with you anymore, dearest Mel, then I don't want to be an adult.
Nelly, you can't. Lady Nelly, the Master wishes to speak with you.
Huh? Father does? What could he want?
Go on, Nelly. You can't make Father wait. He's very particular about people keeping their appointments.
Yes, he is. Unlike you, dearest Mel.
What's got her in such a foul mood? Oh, thank goodness for small miracles. Nelly just won't seem to take me at my word lately. You mustn't be so harsh on her. She is your one and only darling little sister. You're right, but still, she's taken it a bit too far of late. Oh, I'm not so sure. She does not seem to be behaving any differently to me. Am I the only one acting differently then? Well, enough about that. Can I ask you a favour? Me? What can I do for you? I was thinking. Physically, Mel was undeniably a young man, but the smirk that crossed his lips as he schemed gave his face the sweet look of a little boy. Or perhaps that was simply part of his charm, and it was not the age disparity but his character that made his smile so heartwarming. What did he ask of me? You shall find out soon enough. It's cloudy. And thank goodness for that too. Though it would be even better if it were even darker out. I believe the textile shop was around here. Hi there. Lord Mal. Fancy meeting you here. Yeah, what a surprise. So, what do you say we take this chance and go for a little walk? Since you're sensitive to the sunlight, we can keep our eyes out for shadowy areas as we go. And if you're feeling unwell, just let me know. I was sent out to run an errand. Don't worry about that. Come on, follow me. I'm sorry. It, actually wasn't an accident that we crossed paths. I planned this out ahead of time. Asked to have you sent out on a fake errand. It feels like I'm always on alert back at the mansion. Can't relax in my own house. Feels kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. Sorry. That was inappropriate of me. I just thought since the sun's mostly blocked out, it would be alright if... I'm feeling just fine. Of course I get her out of the house and I can't even think of anything to say. Hey, yes? Have you settled into life at the mansion? I have. Everyone has been such a big help. That's good to hear. Indeed. So, yes? Nelly told me that she had you help redecorate her room some time back. Ah, yes. That was shortly after I arrived. What of it? Yeah, that day, Nelly told me that you don't, I don't... Never mind, sorry, it's not important. It is important, but I can't just ask how she feels about me. That would make it sound like I... Forget sound like. I do, don't I? Lord Mal? Oh, sorry. Had something on my mind. It looks like it might rain again today. The weather usually gets better as summer approaches, but not worse like it has been. It won't be a heavy storm though. No? The wind is too gentle. You can tell from that? Vaguely, but yes. Huh, that's impressive. I often leave the house unprepared, only to find myself sloshing back in the rain. You laugh a lot more than you used to. Do I? Yeah, and I like it. You look better with a smile on your face. A smile suits Lady Nellie much more than I. What? Her smile and your smile are completely different. Also, a smile suits you as well, Lord Mel. Do you really think so? What am I supposed to do in the face of a smile like that? So, yes? Knowing her, if I ask if I'm imposing, she'll say no without hesitation. Trying to cover myself isn't going to get me anywhere. Hold on a second. I never did get you those flowers like I promised. There was a single white rose blooming in the garden. I was planning to give it to you, but it disappeared before I had the chance. So, I'd like you to have this. It's not a real rose, but it won't wilt either. Mel was holding an ornamental white rose. It was an impressively detailed replica of the real thing, crafted by an incredibly skilled artisan's hand. It was, I imagine, made by the same craftsman from whom Mel had ordered Nellie's birthday necklace. The young man who, but a handful of days earlier, had said he had no sweetheart, had come in to commission a present for a girl. The master of the shop must have been quite surprised. Or perhaps it had given him a good laugh instead. It was for this moment that he so desperately sought for time together with the white-haired girl. I don't know what you like, so I had to base it on my sister's tastes. My apologies. I cannot accept this. Is the design not to your liking? No, I just... If you're concerned about how much I paid for it, don't be. I just want you to have it, that's all. Please. Why are you so kind to me? Why? Because... I'm sorry, I can't accept it. A clear glint of flustered panic was visible in her red eyes. There is not a girl in the world whose heart would not flutter at the sight of the sparkling rose accessory, but her reaction was far from delight. As a matter of fact, there were traces of fear and apprehension in her countenance. I beg your pardon. Hold on. Fuck. With a look of distress on her face, the white-haired girl made to run off, but Mel grabbed her by the arm in the nick of time. At least tell me why. Is it because you dislike me? I never said. Something's wrong with me. From the day you arrived at the mansion, it's like I haven't been myself. I've been strangely aflutter ever since then. Whether I try to study or whether I try to read, none of it sticks. I'm just looking at pages of text, tracing rows of letters only for them to disappear as soon as I look away. It's all because of you. I truly am sorry. Please, don't be any more generous than you already have. When I'm with you, my willpower wavers. What do you mean by that? I'm so sorry. Wait! Mel's grip loosened for a moment, allowing her to slip free and dart off like a gust of wind, not giving him a chance to stop her a second time. The dumbfounded flaxen-haired boy stood frozen in place, left all by himself. The breeze, which the white-haired girl had called gentle earlier, felt faintly chilly, almost as if mocking him. It looks like she's even less fond of me than I thought. God, I'm crying. I'm pathetic. Well, if it isn't Mel, what might you be? Are you crying? I'm so pitiful. Sorry you had to see this. Think nothing of it. I passed by a girl just a few moments ago. She appeared to be rather distressed as well. Did something happen between the two of you? I wasn't good enough, it seems. Not good enough? That was the new maid I was telling you about before. I was, like you said, Father, I was keen on her. Quite. Enough to bring me to tears like a miserable child. But she rejected me. I don't even have what it takes to be a stand-in prince. Mel. I apologize for complaining to you about this. I'm completely hopeless. Mel. Please don't try to cheer me up. I don't need any sympathy. I just... No, Mel, listen to me. What? I've seen that girl before. What do you mean? But, you said she was a servant at your house, right? In which case... Yes, she is. Please tell me, Father. Where did you see her? Why must you be so evasive? It was probably someone else. Someone else? You're saying you mistook someone who stands out as much as her? Father. She and a man whom I assume is her father paid a visit to the church once. They came asking for food, their clothes in tatters. The two were emaciated. I don't think they were eating daily. What? Wait a minute, are you saying? She's a beggar. But Father said she came from an esteemed house. Which is why I said I might be mistaken, Mel. She has a singular aspect, but it is possible there is another girl who looks similar. Deep down, though, the priest surely believed the opposite. And so he said sternly, like teacher to pupil, "But you must be absolutely certain, Mel, understood? You cannot proceed any further without knowing her ancestry." May I visit the church, Father? By all means. In the back of Mel's mind, a vision of the night of the storm, the night the white-haired girl arrived at the mansion, was surely replaying. She had been wearing little more than rags and covered in grime, hardly the appearance of a respectable young lady of class. Have I been putting her through unnecessary stress? If she actually turns out to be nameless, to be rankless, no matter where she comes from, my heart has decided. I will not fool myself about how I feel any longer. No, I cannot fool myself. But how does she feel? What will everyone else think? I have to find out why she was welcomed into our house. I'll ask Mother, or Father. No. If for some reason they don't know she isn't aristocratic, I'm better off not saying anything. But if they don't, then does that mean she's been lying to us and to them? I have to find out. This time, I must get answers. No. No, absolutely not. You come back and the first thing you say is that? I hate you, Father. I will not stand for this. Why? Why would he just suddenly throw that on me? He didn't even ask for my opinion. No, I won't do it. I'm fine the way things are. I'm just fine. Dearest Mel, I need your help. I don't want to get married. This may seem sudden, but I must confess that I made a grave mistake. My transgression is that I was unable to completely predict where this path we were travelling led. My hands were full dealing with my immediate day-to-day tasks. Could do naught but pray there was happiness waiting in the future. Happiness for everyone who lived within Rose Manor. But I am a mere maid. There are limits to what I am allowed to do, and furthermore, it was not my place to offer her my hand. Roads such as the one we were following have a way of diverging with little warning, and if you do not turn the wheel exactly right at those sudden forks, you may end up somewhere horribly off course. I was well aware of that fact, which is why I thought that what I did was for the best. It's happening again. I made sure the door was closed, but I can sense someone standing there. Someone watching me. Footsteps. They're looking down on me. I want to open my eyes, but I can't do it. Curses. You're just going to leave without doing anything, aren't you? Then hurry up and get out of here. Free me from this torture. No, tonight, They're on my bed now, looking down on me. My neck. I can't speak. I can't move. These cold fingers. That soft breath. Why? I can move my body, but that's not important right now. You smell of roses, the scent of a world far removed from ours. He made to gasp at the sight of him, only to realize he could not. The pressure of her cold fingertips wrapped around his throat robbed him almost entirely of the ability to breathe. Why? He silently mouthed the word. For that moment at least, her melancholic ruby eyes were focused wholly on the flaxen-haired young man. In them glowed a faint flicker of willpower and a continuously burning agitation that roused her to action. I told you to stop being so kind to me. Why? It will all be over soon. Please, don't make any noise. Why? To put an end to this family, you are my only way. Why are you shaking? What? Upon hearing Mel's words, the strength drained from her slender fingertips. He had not been questioning why she would do such a thing. There was, of course, a trace of bewilderment visible in his eyes, but he did not shout, nor did he tremble in fear. He instead expressed concern for the young woman who looked like a cornered rabbit. I am not shaking. You are, I can see it. As he slowly regained his breath, Mel's voice grew grew clearer. Conversely, the red-eyed girl's grew progressively more faint and raspy. You are not doing this because you genuinely want to. There is some other reason. This is what I desire. Have you been to my room before? You have. I'm sorry. Well, I'll be damned. Tell me, why are you shaking? You're not putting any pressure on my neck. Why haven't you run? Because I cannot fathom why you would do this, so I'm not afraid. Do you hate me so deeply you want me dead? Do you despise me to the point you would be willing to take my life with your own hands? No, I don't. See? Like I said, there's another reason. If it isn't because you detest me, then tell me, why is it? I am sorry. I will leave your room now. I will do my best not to bother you any further, so please forget anything ever happened. Do you think I'm just going to say okay and let you go? Why can't you tell me the reason? I'm sorry. Alright, then I'll try and guess. What? It has something to do with your lineage. You're troubled by it somehow, am I right? I thought so. How do you know about that? The priest at the church told me he had seen you before. He also told me, a little about your origin. But that's all I know. The only difference between us is social rank. I don't know what would cause you to do this. Please, tell me who you really are. Tell me why you came to the mansion and why father allowed you to be a maid. I haven't said anything to mother or father. If you're hiding the truth from them, they still don't know. But I want to. I won't get mad at you or have you punished. I'll even swear to God if you like. I want to be the prince who whisks you away. I want to be like the prince who rescued the girl from the dark mansion and showed her the world. I know I'm not that dependable, but I want to help you. Why? Why do you show me such compassion? Why do you treat me like this? I have my hand around your neck. Why? I thought it would be obvious. Or have I not expressed myself well enough? I love you. Every time you push away, it crushes me. I didn't even know my heart could feel such distress. If you dislike me and don't want to be with me, then, well, I'll just have to live with that, as much as it may hurt. But if you have some other reason, some weight on your shoulders that you can't share with anyone else, tell me. I want to help you. There are other options. Things we can do about your... No, that's not it. Huh? I've tried to hate you so many times. So yes, there's more to it than just social status. But I can't do it. I couldn't make myself do it. What do you mean? I had so many chances, but I couldn't do anything. She spoke in a stifled voice, as if every word had to fight to escape her lips. She appeared so fragile, so precarious looking down on him, that it seemed as though if a gust of wind were to whisk through the room, it would blow her completely away. Her pale fingers were trembling, like she had tried to squeeze them again and failed. However, her hand did not pull away from his still slender neck. Her hand is so cold. He did not challenge her, but simply kept his eyes affixed on hers, as if carefully watching to see what she would do next. I'll say it as many times as I must. I love you. And I wouldn't be able to accept losing you without knowing anything. So please tell me the reason. I'll see to it that you're taken care of. Those are the words of a man of means, Lord Mel. Of someone blessed enough to have pity for others. You are a foolish young man. You know nothing. But the greatest fool of all is myself. If you agree to punish me, I will talk. Tell me. Her long white hair and his soft flaxen hair touched for just the briefest of moments, and it appeared in the darkness as though they had fused together. The white-haired girl finally gathered the courage, began to slowly tell her tale. On the night of the storm, I paid a visit to Rose Manor, this mansion. My father and I were always on the move, travelling across the land by foot, so it was only recently that we heard rumours of Rose Manor. There are several reasons we couldn't stay in one place. First is my unusual appearance. People often find the colour of my skin or eyes disconcerting. So after living in one place for long enough, unsettling rumours would begin to spread, forcing us to leave. Another reason was my father's line of work. He painted pictures for a living, but he had trouble finding a patron, so he had to work day to day. When he was no longer able to find work in a city, we would move. We were birds that migrated without a flock. When we arrived at this town, my father was exhausted and weak. That is when we heard of Rose Manor and the family who dwelled within it. Rhodes is a name my father could never forget. He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rhodes family. Hold on. Your father was an artist here? Yes. It was before I was born, so you probably don't remember Lord Mel, So you knew about us before you came here. For as long as I can remember, I've known the name Rhodes. My father was chased from your house, just because they didn't like something he painted. Having failed the Rhodes family, no one else would become his patron. Just as a good reputation spreads, so too does a bad one. Branded once as a failure, no one will take you in ever again. You nobles throw your parties and spread your gossip about this painter or that sculptor. The rose you tried to give me is an example of that. It was certainly crafted with skill, but the jeweller is only known because some aristocrats spoke highly of him. My father's painting was no less skillful. He was a talent that could not be easily imitated, but no one was willing to separate the art from the artist. The Rhodes family stole everything from my father, but even thrown out onto the streets, his only skill was painting. That was all he could do to earn a living. What little money we had for food, he gave to me. He did anything he could to ensure my survival, even at the expense of his own well-being. My father passed away in this town. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his fingers through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. If I had a normal appearance, I'm sure life would have been much easier. He was always telling me how sorry he was for making life so hard, even though it's not his fault I look like this. I disdained the Rhodes family for putting my father through such hardship. I imagined you were still living in decadence, acting as though nothing had ever happened. No, you wouldn't even care about the fate of one simple painter. Our lives meant nothing to you. And so I sought to bring misfortune upon you. And that's why you tried to kill me. In truth, I had wanted to take the master's life, but your father spent so much time outside the mansion. And so, you're right. If they lost me, it would put my family in a very difficult position. That is the whole of my tale. You now know about my father and how I feel about you. Having told you of the blackness in my heart, I cannot go on living like nothing has changed. Please give me punishment. Why? Why would you have me put the one I love through any more misery? I am not fit for your affection. Not only because I am not aristocratic, but because every time I spoke with you, I did so holding this darkness in my heart. Does that not unnerve you? In the end, it was my family's actions that caused you so much suffering. Would that your father was still alive, perhaps I could have done something. I'm sorry. And besides, you hesitated. You didn't actually kill me. What am I even to punish you for? As you said, you had countless opportunities, but you could not bring yourself to do it. Tell me, why couldn't you kill me?
Because
If it's because I've given you enough reason to have even the slightest bit of interest in me.
Nothing was as I envisioned it.
What?
I assumed the residents of Rose Manor would be cold, people who believed that wealth and rank mattered above all. But on the night of the storm, the mistress was the first one to extend her hand to me. I arrived at the mansion disguised as a beggar. Actually, disguised is not the right word, as many nights I only survived on the generosity of others. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite, she took me in as a servant.
So that was Mother's doing.
I could scarcely believe she would invite a stranger into her home, that she would treat a stranger with such compassion. I thought perhaps she knew who my father was, but I had never met any of you before, so she must simply be a kind-hearted woman. And the mistress continued to treat me with kindness, despite my disquieting appearance and the darkness in my heart. In time, I began to grow less and less sure of myself. Was what I meant to do truly right? Were the things I felt truly justified? But it was a certain fact that my father was here, and that he had been chased out. So I decided I should take your life to put an end to everything before I wavered any further.
And then?
You were too kind to me. It's all your fault. Because you laugh with such affection, because you give me smiles like that, because you say the things you say. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'm so happy to hear that, despite the unusual circumstances. Please, don't say you want to leave. Don't ask me to punish you. I couldn't do anything for your father, but at least allow me to do something for the daughter he cared for so dearly.
You are far too kind-hearted.
I'll be happier with you around. You can become a real aristocrat.
Huh?
There are families that would be willing to adopt you, especially knowing it would bring them ties to the Rhodes family in the near future.
Are you saying,
as long as you're okay with that, of course.
I don't understand. How could you possibly say that?
I have my hand around your neck even as we speak. It seems reasonable enough to me. I'm desperately looking for some way to not have to lose you.
But I couldn't. I don't know any etiquette or social customs. How could I?
You can learn all of that. You're pretty and naturally graceful. You'll do just fine.
You are such an aristocrat, Lord Mel.
What?
The way you come up with compliments so easily.
Only for you. Nellie says my poetry has as much charm as a dissertation. I don't understand theatre. It puts me to sleep. You laughed. Thank goodness.
Keep smiling. You don't have to stop.
A smile on your face is a smile on mine. No matter how deep the darkness has taken root in your heart, it can always be removed. I believe people are capable of forging their own futures. What do you say we go to the theatre sometime? I promise I won't sleep through it. At the private theatre, we can get seats at the far end of the second floor, so we don't have to stand. They would be pretty lavish seats, and it would give you a chance to experience the noble life. But please, don't be shy. I can have clothes prepared for you. I'll ask one of the maids who can keep a secret. Say, the one with black hair. She kind of scares me, though.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
How could you show such compassion for me? I tried to inflict harm upon you. Am I allowed to feel such joy? For every day you suffered, a day of happiness. That's how it has to be. So stand by my side. He softly whispered the girl's name. For several long moments her lips trembled in trepidation, but in time she squeezed them together and made a smile. He wrapped his arms around her unbelievably slender, frail frame, holding her tight in an affectionate embrace. Mel approached me the next day. He explained to me the course of events and then asked me to dress her up more beautifully than any other noble girl had ever been. She was already a very pretty girl, so even without much effort on my part, simply putting her in a dress, she radiated beauty. I was quite partial to her smile, so I agreed to help, thinking that if it would lead to their happiness, I could not ask for anything more. I never anticipated what would happen next, though. Perhaps my hopes were unreasonable after all. Now, Nelly, you love the theatre. Don't look so cross. Nelly was out with a man other than her brother that evening, a rare sight indeed, and she was quite clearly in a foul mood.
I will not stand for this. That I should have to marry a man as disagreeable as Arthur? It's unthinkable.
The young man at her side was Nelly's fiancé, selected by her parents. On any other occasion, she would have snubbed an invitation from any man who was not Mel, but she had little say in this matter. She was, for lack of a better word, forced to go out with him. And oh, how furiously she had fought against it. She had shoved aside the Abigail trying to fasten her corset, locked herself in her room, and sobbed for quite some time. It required the combined efforts of several of us to get her ready and out the door for her date. Come now, you should at least pretend you're enjoying yourself. Or do you want people to think we don't get along?
Do we get along?
Well, I want to, for what it's worth.
What it's worth to you is my name, not me.
Are you really going to be like that? I went out of my way to take you to your favourite play. The least you could do is be a little kinder to me. What was it called again? Romeo and Juliet? It's been running for 6 or 7 years now. A family like yours or mine could pay to have a brand new script written. So why should we have to see an old play at a theatre full of commoners? It may be private, but even so... I would rather just have a show put on at my estate.
Stop talking already! Why should I have to marry someone like you? I have absolutely no desire to marry you. Whatever it takes, I will put a stop to this. I'll talk to Father as many times as I must.
Please, don't make such a scene. It's shameful. There are people around. Remember, you represent your family. Besides, our families are hardly strangers to one another. Try as you might, I doubt you can get rid of me. No matter what you say, you can't break this engagement.
You don't?
Your parents gave you too much freedom, and look at what a spoilt little girl you became because of it. Goodness, you're going to be quite the handful.
Oh, get off your high horse.
No, you're the one on a high horse, Nelly. You are going to be my wife. You could at least put some effort into liking me. What happens when I take you to a social engagement and you act like this? It's shameful to the both of us.
This coming from someone who used to call me Lady Nelly. What's your problem?
When you choose to act like a lady, I'll gladly call you that again. Goodness gracious. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. I have to marry a bratty little girl because it will help my family.
How dare you talk about me that way?
You're not a damn princess. Open your eyes. If you think talking to your father will get you out of this marriage, you're welcome to try. I doubt he'll have it, though. Otherwise, you can just go complain about it to your friends. Oh, that's right. As far as I'm aware, you don't have any friends.
Enough!
As you wish.
This is so frustrating. Why should I have to listen to this jerk mock me? I have Mel. I know. If Father won't listen to me, I'll ask Mel to talk to him. Mel will be able to convince him.
Come on now. Your favorite play is about to start. Maybe you should face forward.
Enjoy it while it lasts. You won't be talking down to me much longer. What? Is that?
Wait, Nelly. Get back here. What is that damn child's problem? I didn't give her permission to leave. Father will be sure to hear about this. I cannot have the roads making any more of a fool of me. You're fine. Don't be shy. But so many people are looking at me. That's because you're gorgeous. No, it's because I look strange. I assure you, that's not the case. It is true you have an unusual appearance, but right now, the unique color of your hair, your skin, and your eyes all serve to accentuate your beauty. You sound like a prince, Lord Mel. What? You think so? I mean, I did say I'd be a stand-in prince for you, but I think you're a wonderful prince. Not just a stand-in. Oh, which makes you my princess then? I don't. Oh, you're supposed to say, yes I am. There. You're going to make me sad. I guess I'll just have to keep working at it until you submit. Oh hey, the play's about to start. What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing in particular. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, but there is one thing. Yes? If I start dozing off, could you maybe wake me up? No. What?
Dearest Mel!
Nelly?
Dearest Mel, why are you... What are you doing here?
I asked her to join me. It's nothing to get worked up over.
It is! It absolutely is! How many times did I ask you to come with me and you wouldn't? You don't even like theatre, dearest Mel, and you bought her?
You're right. I'm not especially fond of plays, but I wanted her to be able to see one. Why are you making such a big deal out of this, Nelly?
She's not suitable for you.
What?
She isn't good enough for you. Why would you choose her? She's creepy and you have no idea where she's from.
Don't talk about her like that, Nelly.
But you don't even know who her family is.
I do.
What?
Lord Mel? It's fine. You just stay quiet. Like the other maids, she comes from a respectable house. I looked into it. However, circumstances prevent me from telling you what house that is.
No, you're lying. That can't be. She doesn't act like a lady. She lacks etiquette. And she probably can't even dance. You expect me to believe someone like her is from a good house?
Enough already, Nelly.
Mel, you yelled at me.
You have my word. You don't have to worry about her. So please, stay out of this, Nelly. It isn't any of your business if I spend time with her, is it?
But dearest Mel...
You need to stop hanging all over me, Nelly, and find someone for... Wait. What are you doing at the theatre? Are you here alone?
Oh yes, dearest Mel. About that, I have a favour to ask of you. I'd been waiting to talk to you about this since yesterday, but I haven't seen you at all.
Settle down, Nelly. What is it?
Father had me engaged without consulting me. And he picked Arthur, that disagreeable little...
Oh, right, that. I already know.
What?
I heard it from Father. That reminds me, you didn't show up at breakfast this morning. I see now. It was because of your engagement.
Dearest Mel!
Is that who you're here with today? In that case, you should get back to him rather than waste any more time with us.
You knew I didn't want to get married, Mel, so why? Why didn't you talk Father out of it?
Because it's your time, Nelly. If there's someone else you'd rather be with, then, well, you can try persuading Father, but...
You're the only prince for me, dearest Mel. And a prince always grants his princess's wishes. Doesn't he? I just want you to say you'll do that for me, dearest Mel.
Lady Nelly...
You stay out of this! It's all your fault! It's all because you showed up and played your little tricks on him! I warned you about this rat, dearest Mel. She is not suitable for...
I told you I'd had enough already! Ooh. How much longer are you going to continue acting like a child? I can deal with you being a spoiled little girl, but how dare you be so derisive to someone else?
Mel, hit me.
Lord Mel. Go on, the show's about to start. People are giving us dirty looks. Return to your betrothed, now. I will apologize to him afterwards as well.
You said you would always be by my side. That you would always be my prince.
The time for make-believe is past, Nelly.
No, I refuse to believe it. I will not have it.
Nelly! My goodness, that girl. Are you not going to go after her, Lord Mel? No, just let her go. The only place she even has to go is home. I just wish she'd start acting a little more like an adult. I imagine Lady Nelly simply... She what? No, it just wasn't my intention to get between you. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault we had an argument. But you two are so close. Well, yeah, we're siblings. So we're close, but nothing more. I do care about Nelly, and I enjoy spending time with her. But she's my sister, nothing more. Anyway, sorry for making such a scene. No, I imagine she left her betrothed behind without saying anything, so I'm going to go apologize to him. We have to keep up appearances. Stay here, I'll be right back. Very well. Master, what are your thoughts on the tale so far? Which of the siblings do you think was in the right, Master? The brother or the sister? Oh my, I apologize for the abrupt question. Did I startle you? What do I think? Yes. I believe Mel was probably right. He was also surely happier than her. As Mel had anticipated, Nellie fled from the theatre, leaving her fiancé behind. She forced her way into a carriage stopped outside, probably one called for a different nobleman, and ordered it to take her home. Mel's assumption was correct. The only place she had to return to was the mansion. The sun was beginning to set, and as a young lady, she could not simply go wandering through town alone. Nor did she have any acquaintances to take her in. Her world was, in essence, composed of two elements, her brother and the Rose Garden. They were the light of her life at Rose Manor. She lived a very isolated existence. When she escaped back home, Nellie went straight to her room, locked the door, and began sobbing. The waves of her sorrow came crashing effortlessly over the leaves. Tears streamed through the cracked walls of the dams blocking her tear ducts.
Why? Why won't you help me, Mel? Why won't you take my side?
The decor in her room appeared blurry through her damp eyes. Memories of the day she had redecorated played back in her mind with crystal clarity.
She told me she had no feelings for you. That liar! That liar!
She let her emotions run wild, breaking glass craftworks, silver plates designed by famous foreign artisans, flower vases, all sorts of things. It was as though a beast had been set loose in her bedchamber. The vase she tossed shattered against a painting hanging on the wall, spraying water, porcelain and roses in every direction. It was the portrait she adored so dearly of her and her brother. And in what appeared to her like a metaphor for her life, the frame fell off its mounting and came crashing to the floor. Nellie darted over and scooped it up. The frame had broken, but the painting inside was unharmed. The two smiling children were still the very image of happiness, inseparable siblings gently holding one another's hand.
My prince is no more.
Though in her present state of mind, that image of happiness brought her nothing but misery. And the worse she felt, the more frustrated she grew at the smiling girl and kind boy of her past.
The princess is no more either. You are not a princess anymore, Nellie. Some other woman has taken your place. I trusted you, Mel. I believed you would always be there for me. This painting, it's nothing but a lie. That's not the real Mel. That's not the real me. It's all a big fat lie. A lie. I wish this painting never existed. That it was never made. That I never had a brother. This painting.
In a fit of emotional distress, she scratched feverishly at the painting she once considered precious. She put more force into her fingers than she, or perhaps anyone, might have imagined she could. Flakes of paint began falling off the canvas, and in time, she noticed something peculiar.
Huh? What? Is this writing? Something's hidden beneath the paint. Just a little more. A date? Why would that be hidden? What could it be for? Completed. May 1587. 1587.
She read aloud the faded, scratched-up handwriting. After staring blankly at the text for some time, the colour in her face began to drain.
What is this? How could this have been painted 16 years ago? I wasn't even born yet then, and Mel would have just been a baby. Is this not me? Is this not Mel? There's still more writing.
Urged on by her rapidly pounding heart, Nellie furiously scratched away at the painting. Even as her clean pink fingernails were soiled with fragments of paint and blood, she did not stop. She was so overwhelmed by trepidation that she could not stop. She had a horrible premonition that something was about to happen, something indescribable, incomprehensible.
This is how I envision your son and our unborn daughter might look several years from now. Your son and our unborn daughter? So this was a painting of the future? Then it really is of me and Mel. No, use your head, stupid. I'm only 14. 16 years ago, I would not have even been inside Mother. But then who is this? Who is that holding Mel's hand? Who is that with my brother? More, there has to be. Ow! Found it. There's more writing. I have to know what this is. Calm down, Nellie. It's nothing to get worked up over. I'm sure it's nothing. Calm down and read. There's nothing to worry about. If our unborn child...
This is what the writing on the painting said. If our unborn child does not have your hair colour, then you will probably not be able to take her in as your own. I will be punished and my life made miserable. And so I pray that this child might have flaxen hair. Though, is it a sin to wish she has in her a trace of me? I do hope it is a girl.
What am I reading? I don't get it. Someone tell me, what does this mean? A painting from 16 years ago? Hair colour? Sin? I do hope it is a girl.
Yes?
It's Nellie. Let me in.
Lady Nellie.
Oh, you changed out of your dress. That's a shame. It looked nice on you. It really did look so nice. Almost like you were a princess.
Lady Nellie?
Say, I've got a question for you. Do you mind?
By all means.
What colour hair did your father have?
I beg your pardon?
Did you not hear me? Should I repeat the question?
No. I assumed it would be about Lord Mel.
I'm just so curious about where you got that white colour from.
My father was more tan than white, so I didn't inherit my paleness from anyone.
I asked about your father's hair colour.
Well, why would you want to?
There's no reason why you can't tell me, is there?
My father, had white hair. But that was simply because he was an older man. I do not think he was born with. Lady Nellie?
Hey, guess what? I figured it out. I figured it all out. And it was so simple. There's only one difference between you and me. The thing that Mel fell for is...
Why do you have those? No! Stay back! Ah. We finally reached this point in the tale, Master. If your memory has been refreshed, then we can return to the mansion immediately. Very well, then. If you insist, Master, we shall proceed with the story. It was a stormy night, much like the one the white-haired girl had first arrived on. It was quiet as a crypt in the mansion, not a single light visible in the halls. The house sat in wait for the sun to peek out over the horizon. The darkness is, generally speaking, something that rushes by like a gust of wind as we sleep. The flaxen-haired young man, too, lay in bed, pale blue moonlight sporadically streaming through the gaps in his drawn velvet curtains as he attempted to submit to slumber. He was having difficulty drifting off, but as time trickled onward, he drew closer and closer to the arms of Morpheus. Suddenly, he sensed a presence in the room, much like the one from those nights some weeks earlier. Is someone there? Answer me! A slender female finger pressed gently against his lips. There was no hostility in the motion, but rather a great deal of affection. You're... The silhouette, faintly visible in the dark room, was the same as that night. A flash of lightning shone through the drawn curtains, illuminating her beautiful white hair. Several silky locks spilled over her shoulders and brushed against Mel's cheeks. A couple soft puffs of air tickled his face, as though she was silently laughing. He assumed her finger, held against his lips, was her way of telling him to stay quiet. She began to slowly, delicately trace the outline of his mouth, moving down his cheek and along his jawline as if over porcelain. You're, rather more forward than I remember. Well, I suppose you always were quite daring. This isn't the first time you've sneaked into my bedchamber, the boy said in an attempt to conceal his surprise. Do you remember the night she came to exact revenge on him for her father? Indeed, she had proven herself to be a rather bold girl once already. It's dark. I can't see you very well. Why don't I light a lamp, or perhaps we could open the... Before he could finish, the white-haired girl sealed his lips with her own. In the near total darkness of his bedchamber, the two shadows appeared as one. They remained that way for several minutes. Their kiss was innocent, no more than the pressing together of two pairs of lips. And at the same time, the white-haired girl lovingly ran her fingertip across his skin. When their lips separated, Mel gasped for air. It seemed he had been holding his breath. Slightly embarrassed at himself, he said,
Dearest Mel?
"Oh." Nothing. He could not speak. The silhouette hanging above him was clearly the white-haired girl's. Or was it? Because his next words were, "Get off me!" He reflexively shoved the girl straddling him aside. She rolled off the bed, landing on the cold floor, but slowly, gradually, she crawled her way back toward him.
That wasn't very nice.
Veiled in darkness, she slowly lifted her head. And then there was another flash of lightning. The heavy fabric of the curtains rustled, bolts of light streaming between the gaps. Her flaxen irises glimmered, though in the bluish-white light they took on a twinge of almost golden glow.
No need to be so rough. This isn't the first time she's visited your bedchamber. Is it, Mel? Or did I not kiss you the same way? Tell me, how does she run her fingers across your skin? What does she do when she nuzzles up to you?
Stop! Stop this madness, Nellie! Why would you do this?
Because you like white hair, don't you, Mel? Because you like white hair, which is why you fell for her, isn't it? So if I have white hair, then you'll fall for me too. Then I can be your princess again, dearest Mel.
What are you even talking about? He could not escape from her, from his sister's piercing gaze. Why? What happened? How could she? Questions crashed into the young man's mind like waves in a stormy sea, but none of them found answers. They simply caused him further perplexity. Your hair? What happened to your hair? How did you get that colour?
Oh, this? You like my wig?
But as soon as the words left her mouth, Mel was in motion, propelled by pure instinct. He clenched Nellie's shoulders tight enough to dig his fingers into her flesh.
You're hurting me, Mel.
What did you do to her? Tell me! What did you do?
I made her leave. It was a perfectly reasonable decision. She was obviously not nobility, and was hardly fit to be part of this household. But there's no need to worry, Mel. I'm here to take her place.
You sound like a mad woman. It doesn't matter if she was of noble blood or not. She promised she would stay by my side. So why? How could you do that to her?
I promised you that long before she ever did. And I love you far more than she did, Mel.
Have you lost your mind? You're not making any sense. Where is she now? What is she doing?
It's always her with you. What more could you want from me? Tell me, what does she have that I don't? What do I have to do to get you to focus on me, and only me?
We're siblings. Don't you understand what you're doing?
Oh, I understand it quite well. Far better than you do, dearest Mel. I even know that a former queen was executed for it. But if we don't get caught, there's no problem.
Nellie, are you saying you've always felt this way about me?
Oh my, you didn't notice, dearest Mel? You truly are a dense one. I guess romance just isn't your strong suit. But you've noticed now, haven't you? You know exactly how I feel about you, right?
Quit it! Enough! Don't say anything else. Stop having these insane feelings for me. It's disgusting. What are you laughing about?
Poor Mel. content in your complete ignorance. All right, I'll tell you everything. Mel, you can only love blood-related women.
Huh? His cackling sister appeared to him like some kind of inhuman life form. Her actions and incomprehensible exclamations slowly drained him of his strength. What kind of deranged nonsense is that? I love her. She's
your sister, Mel.
Very funny. How far out of your mind have you gone, Nellie?
Poor Mel. Do you honestly know nothing? Say that her father was a painter?
He painted pictures for a living. What of it?
For a time, her father painted for our family. You've seen the picture before, dearest Mel. The one hanging in my room of the two of us. That was painted by her father. He did a good job, didn't he? I kept asking and asking until you finally agreed to hold my hand. And how did you feel about that? You were rather embarrassed, weren't you? Do you remember that day, dearest Mel? You couldn't possibly remember it. But there's a chance you might remember this. Before we moved to this mansion, we had a painter with white hair.
I don't remember any such thing. He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rhodes family.
But that painter did something very, very bad, and because of that, he couldn't remain a part of our household. Do you know what he did, Mel? He lay with Mother.
My father was chased from your house.
If the child had been born with flaxen hair, then the painter would not have been thrown out. The baby would have been accepted as part of the family. But that wasn't how it turned out. That child had white hair. She didn't look at all like she carried the Rhodes family blood. But see, Mother had me. That I'm here is all the proof you need. The girl born 16 years ago didn't have flaxen hair.
Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his hands through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. You're talking total nonsense. What proof do you have?
If you want to see it, I'll gladly show you. The artist left a message in the painting in my room. Tell me, am I truly wrong? What did that girl tell you?
You're lying.
What part of it is a lie, Mel? Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Why don't you go ask Mother? I'm sure she would throw quite the fit.
Mother wouldn't. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite. She took me in as a servant.
It never made sense to me. Why would she hire a maid she knew nothing about? Someone who just showed up at the door one day. And when I asked Mother to make her my maid, she stubbornly refused. From a good house? Don't make me laugh. If she were really nobility, she would have given us her name. But Mother was so desperate to cover up her mistake.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe a word you're saying. It couldn't possibly be true.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could bury your head in the sand? But Mel, feigning ignorance is a sin.
No, I refuse to believe it. Not a chance in hell.
You just don't understand anything. How I feel, how much I've suffered. Do you have any idea how long I've loved you?
knowing that you would never accept my affection. But then, fancy that! You fell in love with your half-sister. Then I should qualify for your love too. Shouldn't I, Mel? Stop it! Enough! Shut your mouth! Not another word! I don't believe any of this!
Mel! I know you'll never love me. I know there's nowhere for me to run. Say, when we were kids, was that really me? Was I really by your side, Mel? If that painting tells the whole truth, I was never once did I get to be your princess. Not even once.
Dearest Mel, everyone just loves to dote on me. They're always telling me how pretty I am. Mother does, father does, and all the maids do too. I can do anything I want. So for me, acting like a spoiled child is the only form of rebellion I have. I don't have the kind of freedom you do, Mel. I'm just a doll for the family to play with. When I have visitors, it's only ever for show. So it's not my fault that I don't have friends. Dearest Mel, you're the only one who's ever cared about me more than anything in the world. Dearest Mel, I always knew how I would react if you fell in love. I would cry my eyes out. I would envy her to death. I would get angry as a bull. But eventually, I would have given up. I knew I could never have it my way after all. My feelings would never bear fruit. So why did she have to be your sister? Tell me, why?
Oh, dearest Mel, here you are again, reading such hard books. Your eyes will go bad if you spend too long staring at pages.
I'll be fine, Nellie. It's not like I'm reading 24 hours a day.
No, that's not good enough. If your eyes go bad, dearest Mel, you won't be able to see me anymore.
You worry too much. I can see you fine and well, my princess. Your hair glimmering like the sun and your beautiful smile. I can see you clear as day, and that'll never change. Plus, the skies are clear today, so you're even more radiant than usual.
You know this is my favorite season. Winter's cold, and there's so much rain, I can't stand it. But as it gets closer to my birthday, the clouds go away. And I just adore the sun.
Oh yes, it's almost your birthday, isn't it? Have you decided what you're going to ask Father for?
Not yet. I want pretty dolls and shoes with sparkling gems. And I also want a pretty dress, like the one Mother wears.
A list that long is asking a bit much, even for Father.
But dearest Mel, I already have what I want the most. So the truth is, as long as I have that, I don't need anything else.
Oh, and what would that be? The hairpin they bought for you the other day? Or maybe the song they had written for you last year?
None of that, dearest Mel.
Huh? Then what could it be? Now I'm really curious. What is it that's so valuable to you?
That's a secret.
Girls have so many secrets. I just don't know what to do.
Say, dearest Mel, would you run your fingers through my hair? Just for a little bit.
What's gotten into you, Nellie? Why are you so hungry for attention all of a sudden?
Please, dearest Mel.
Oh, Nelly, what am I going to do with you? Come over here.
And I want to sit on your lap.
Yes, yes, as you wish, my beautiful, beautiful little princess.
Say, dearest Mel.
What is it this time, Nelly?
Right now, I'm so incredibly happy.
Oh, and out of curiosity, who was it that you really cared so much about? In a fevered frenzy, Mel fled from the mansion. Even in early summer, the night was cold, and to make matters worse, raindrops pelted him from head to toe. But that caused him little discomfort, from a far greater maelstrom of pain rampaged within his breast. At night, the town took on a different appearance, not simply for lack of illumination, but the people active within it as well. It was not a suitable place for a young aristocratic man to go wandering unattended. The darkness is not the only abode of devils, but of beggars, thieves, criminals, and all manner of things undesirable. But despite that, he continued to run, knowing not where he has to head. He simply went where his feet took him, and where he arrived was the church. Father! Father! God should be able to offer me console, to answer all my questions about that painting, about her, and about Nellie's feelings. Not her lies, but the truth. Please, open the door. Open the door! But as you might expect, the door was locked, and the priest showed no sign of responding to his calls. The sound of the pouring rain drowned out everything else. His head drooped feebly. He looked like a helpless little calf who had wandered alone onto a dark, precarious mountain path with no end in sight. Why? Why won't anyone tell me the truth? All I want is for someone to tell me it's not true. Have I sinned? No, I didn't know anything. I didn't know. No, none of it's true. So I haven't done anything wrong. I am not at fault, am I? Nevertheless, his sister's claims and her laughs continued to echo within his head. If he truly believed it to be false, he would have gone to look at the painting. That he could not was an indication that uncertainty had a stronger grip on him. Fragmented images of a white-haired painter fluttered through the back of his mind, but he desperately shoved them aside. What good is the church? What good is theology? What good is God? What? Something moved near the boy. It stood immediately behind him and grasped his light dressing gown. He had been so consumed in his own world that he had not noticed the person's presence until they were close enough to touch him. What? Who are you? Standing there was a beggar dressed in tattered rags. He's still begging at the church? The hooded beggar tentatively extended his hand towards Mel, pleading for relief with sad, slender fingers. Were he a generous young man, Mel would have given the beggar something. Were he generous, of course. Lord, get your filthy hands off me! I don't have a damn thing to give you right now! Don't you dare touch me! Suddenly, The beggar's head turned upward. My eyes catch the beggar's. Her hood fell back, revealing a hairless head. Why? And a pair of red eyes gazing bitterly, though with a familiar, distinctive glimmer at Mel. Red eyes? She immediately covered her face and turned to run. It can't be. The beggar has always been here. The beggar that's always been here was a... But you said yourself they would not survive much longer. How could you be certain she was that same beggar? Wait for me! Perhaps as someone of such high social standing, all beggars appeared the same to you. Or perhaps you wanted to believe your meagre generosity made a difference, that you did something of value. I will not say it is wrong to think so. Wait for me! I chase after the fleeing girl. Though I shout for her to stop, she continues to run. The rain is so heavy, I'm afraid I might lose her. I'm terrified. But I didn't do anything wrong, did I? I'm begging you, please stop. I just want to talk. She comes to a stop at a corner. Please, do not go around this corner. It's you, isn't it? I am sorry. Why are you apologizing? What I said back there was truly terrible, and for that I am truly sorry. I didn't realize it was you. Please, come back to me. If you're concerned about social status, I'll figure something out. And Nellie's getting married off soon enough. Oh, yes, Nellie. Nellie did some horrible things to you. She's lost her mind. She was talking nonsense, but don't worry. She'll be out of the picture soon enough. I'll make sure you're safe. Say something, please. Are you angry? You're angry, aren't you? I am not angry at you. I am not. Did you know everything? Did you come over to our house aware of everything? What? Did you? Tell me, please. The priest isn't around and everything Nellie says is a lie. You're the only one who will tell me it's not true. What are you? Our relationship. I don't understand what you're saying. I see. You don't know. You don't know. It's for the best. Nellie's the only one who knows, and she'll be gone before long. Everything will be all right. Lord Mel. It'll all be all right. Let's go back. I'll make sure you're never put in danger again. I'm begging you, stay with me. My appearance is no longer suitable to stand at your side. You saw how unsightly I am back at the church, did you not? Hair can grow back. That's not a problem. Now, I truly look the part of a hideous witch. But I am to blame. It was a sin for me to find happiness in your kindness. What are you talking about? My sin was falling in love with you. Not what happened to my father, nor how we had to spend our days. There's no sin in that. We have our whole lives ahead of us, don't we? With enough time, this whole tragic mess will be behind us. Things will only get better from here. I'll be your prince, like the one who took the girl to see the outside world. So please, give me your hand. Come to me. Don't leave me all alone. I need you by my side. Please. I extend my hand around the corner. I sense her hesitating beyond the bend. I'm begging you. I can't see what's on the other side, but a vision of her reaching out to put her hand in mine wells up in my mind. But that story never had an ending. What? She doesn't take my hand. I doubt the girl ever wrote that letter. She's not there when I turn the corner. Why? How did things end up like this? Where did I go wrong? Oh God! Your error was likely your kindness, thoughtlessly, haphazardly spreading your generosity. But that generosity came from your own desire to avoid pain, for your own happiness. What should I have done? I can't take this. Everyone was happy. Nellie used to laugh and smile. She once meant the world to me. How did things end up like this? It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. If you pretend like nothing happened, then perhaps they can go on smiling in your head. But regardless, you must follow the path you tread. It is your path alone. The path you choose when, in that moment, you decided to run. Make the wrong choice in those moments. And you shall find yourself on the road to ruin. I should have been better off not knowing. Better off in the dark. I just wanted those tranquil days to last. They were supposed to last forever. At some point, your childhood must come to an end. And that ending may not be the one you anticipated. I can't stand this world. You yearned for a world that would treat you with kindness. What should I do? What should I have done? Someone, please, help me. You should return now. If you spend too long out here, you are liable to catch a cold. Now, let us return to our own time. The crestfallen young man faded into the distance, and the decrepit double doors clacked shut. Through the shattered glass, you could see only the ruins of a garden, not a single rose growing within. You had inevitably returned from the past. In the garden, weeds grew taller than people. You found it difficult to look at. A wolf howled in the distance. The children, the sea of roses, and the white-haired girl were nowhere to be found. You and the maid who called you master were the only people present in the mansion. What happened to them next? Oh, master, you would know better than I. My, you cannot remember? It seems this is quite serious then. Worry not. My loyalty lies with you, master. The mansion has witnessed more yet. Let us make our way to the second door. Your hand in hers, the maid guided you back through the kitchen and into the tea room. Her palms were still cold. You felt as though you were clenching ice. Master? Do you wish to know the truth no matter what may be hidden within? Or, if it is something you would be happy in not knowing, would you rather remain in the dark? Oh, is that so? I wonder about their father. Yes, the flaxen-haired sibling's father. Do you think he knew about the white-haired girl? If he did, then perhaps he allowed her to stay because of how deeply he loved his wife. Or maybe because he did not want people to find out about her. I expect he too experienced many different emotions, but those pages of his story remain untold. Their parents likely had a turbulent tale as well, but theirs is not of consequence. To whom, I could not tell you. You and the maid crossed through the entrance hall, continuing your trek. At some point, the fire in the fireplace had faded to embers, emphasizing the lack of light within the mansion. The maid took a candlestick and lit it in the cinders. The small flame illuminated her pale face. On a whim, you asked the maid about herself. About me? I am a maid devoted to your service, master, as I have said. Oh, what was that? You're interested in my name? You flatter me. I truly do appreciate the question, but you are more than welcome to simply call me the maid. Also, it would make me much happier to hear you say my name after you have recalled who you are, master. A subtle smile rose to the maid's face, after which she began to lead you down the first-floor corridor. Still holding the maid's hand, you passed in front of a full-length mirror. In it, reflected the warm light of the candle which disappeared out of range shortly thereafter. Oh my, is something the matter? Did you come across something peculiar? The maid had not appeared in the mirror, though she was not the only one without a reflection. You reached the end of the corridor. There appeared to be a doorway, but the door itself was long since gone, leaving only a hole in the wall to frame the stairs behind it. Without hesitation, the maid descended into the darkness. You have more interest in this mansion, master, than a mere maid, do you not? Though it pains me to say as much in your presence, master, this house is cursed. Yes, it is a curse that runs deep. As you just bore witness to, the majority of those who dwell within these walls fall into misfortune. I have served here for many years, and periods of happiness are as fleeting as a sugar cube in a cup of hot tea. Why did such tragedies befall them? If I were to guess, master, it was because you had not returned. But when you remember your true self, the mansion's curse should be broken. The next door is before us. It appeared to be the entrance to a cellar. The disconsolate wooden door was visibly rotten in several places, and it seemed it might crumble at a single touch. You could hear the sound of something devouring meat beyond the door. Maybe there was a beast living within. Before you had a chance to say you thought it was dangerous, the maid opened the door with a chilling smile on her face. Your first impression was that it smelled of blood.